Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course, and as you can see from the title of this video, I will be recapping the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. It is season 6, and we are already done with episode 6. So I imagine we're probably about halfway through the season before we get to the reunion already. Well, let's go ahead and jump right on in. What's up, Gladys? Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everyone who is going to be joining me live today, as well as checking out the replay. Please do me a huge favor and hit the like button on this video. You know, it will cause YouTube to recommend this video to more people who have similar interests. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So the episode opens up with Melody and Tiffany. Melody goes to Tiffany's house to invite her to her high tea event. And this episode basically builds up to the high tea event. So that's going to be so much to talk about. So anyway, as you can see, Tiffany is very much so pregnant. The baby is in the belly, but her mouth ain't pregnant, as y'all have been saying in these YouTube streets. And I cannot agree with you more, as we're going to see Melody basically brings Tiffany back up to speed about her daughter's Mariah and Boss Baby's birthday party at the skating rink that we all know Martell ambushed because he was uninvited. And then Melody decided she smartly recorded him. That was very smart. She brought the receipt. Good afternoon, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. She actually showed Tiffany about how when she had the party and Martell finally did leave, after the party, she told Mariah, call your dad so that he can come pick you up and you all can hang out. So when Mariah calls her dad, Melody is recording him, and he says to Mariah, no, I'm gonna get you on Monday, sweetheart. And then Melody actually says, you can hear her say, so you're not gonna pick her up? And he's like, no, I'm gonna get her on Monday, Melody. And then Melody laughed because she said it was BS. Now, Martell, you took yourself to the birthday party uninvited and you raised hell. You were a hellion for absolutely no reason. When you did not get your way, when Melody did not let you stay and pretend like you all were still a married couple, then you didn't even want the kid. All of a sudden, you didn't want her on her birthday. You wanted to wait until Monday, which is your normal day, to pick up the kids anyway. So that was all cap. You just wanted to control Melody and you wanted to be inside of her life. I think you wanted to know if it's so serious between she and her boyfriend that she was going to bring the boyfriend to the kid's birthday party. I think that's what you wanted to see. You wanted to stalk. Oh, yes. Hello, Anonymous. Happy Mother's Day. I'm not a mom, but you did remind me. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. I hope you all had a fabulous day. I did think of my mom today. I miss her every day. So I'm very thankful that I had such a wonderful mom. All right. So, Melody recorded him, which was smart. He totally moved in opposition to how he acted at the skating rink, which was a clown. And then we all know that it was just a plot to control Melody and to be nosy and see what she had going on with her family members. Also in this scene, Tiffany and Melody were recapping the spa day, where we know that Keke was speaking up for herself with Tiffany and Stormy jumped in it about who really originally started talking about Tisha's marriage at the pajama Christmas party. And so Tiffany, bottom line, she just thinks that she's better than Keke. She knows that Keke struggled with an addiction in her past. And I think Tiffany just thinks that she's better. But Tiffany, none of us are better than each other. And I don't like the way you move when you approach her. Well, we're going to get more into that. Yes, happy Mother's Day to you all. Thank you so much for being here. It means the most. All right. So then we see this scene between Maurice and Kimmie. They are talking about, how Monster has been disobeying both of them. Now, I grew up in a very traditional household. My dad is from Alabama. He was very strict. He worked 2 jobs to provide for us. He did a great job as a provider, but he was very much so like he was in control. He controlled the thermostat. So when I see where parents cannot get their kids to obey, that always just is just so fascinating to me. Because, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the way that I grew up was totally right, because it was not. I grew up in a lot of fear and like intimidation. And then I'm the youngest of a large family. So one side of me, a small part of me, is glad that Monster, I guess, is not fearful of his dad and his stepmom. But at the same time, there's not a healthy dose of fear where the boy cleans up his room. Kimmie was saying in this scene, she'll tell Monster to clean up his room and he won't do that. And she's asking Maurice to say that's when you need to step in and say you need to obey your stepmom and clean up your room. But then Maurice was complaining that he can't get a Monster to focus on his schoolwork. So it sounds like the boy is just running the house, period. And that's what I don't get, because I grew up with both parents in the household and that just was not going down. Absolutely not. My dad worked 2 jobs and mama went to the parent teacher conferences. Okay. So there are problems I just don't understand. So when they're talking, Maurice kind of doesn't like the term bonus mom, because he's like, you don't feel like Monster's parent. She said, oh, I do feel like Monster's parent. I love him, but I'm not his biological parent. So I don't know why things like that doesn't click for Maurice. It's almost like he wants to almost like pretend like Kiowa was just like an ex-girlfriend, somebody that you just happen to have been married to, but really like the family is me, you, and Monster when he's talking to Kimmie. But no, Kimmie is being a realist about it. And she's like, I'm not his biological parent. And there are limits to what I can do. Now, like a few weeks ago, when we saw the trailer for this season, some people felt like, oh no, Kimmie is wrong and ain't no step parent gonna take care of mine. But this dad, Maurice, moved the boy down to their household. And we know that Kimmie's finances are contributing to the household. She's a nurse, she's a realtor. So we know that she's contributing to the food that boy eats and the internet that he uses and his cell phone and everything else. So I feel like she has a right. But when I was typing my comments, some people were like, "Oh no, they can't talk to mine." But I feel like after seeing this scene, from the lives that I watched last night, I do feel like people are just saying like Kimmie just wants the boy to clean up his room. She's not trying to go all Django Unchained or 12 Years a Slave on him. She just wants him to clean up his room, and they can't even get him to do that. So what does Maurice do? He decides to call up the biological mom on FaceTime, where she actually agreed with Kimmie that, she does feel like Kimmie should discipline him to an extent. There is a limit because she's not the biological parent. So then Maurice wanted to get off of the phone then, because Kiowa and Kimmie were actually on the same page. And I see where Kimmie's point is, because she's the stepmom. I'm telling him to clean up his room. He won't listen to me. He's disobeying me. So now you, dad, you biological dad, you need to back me up and tell the boy to clean up his room. But he ain't even listening to his dad. Flora says, isn't the son imitating the behavior of the father and his uncles? Yes, Flora, make that connection. Y'all are so smart. That's why Melody calls y'all critical thinkers. I totally agree. He is totally picking up on the energy that he sees from his dad and his uncle and his granddaddy. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. So, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So let me know how you all would handle that if you were the stepmom and your stepchild was not obeying you with a simple task as cleaning up his room. And then you see that your husband, the biological dad, can't even get him to focus on his homework, his schoolwork. Let me know in the comments how you all would handle that. And I'll circle back once I see y'all comments in the chat. So then we see where Stormy invited Keke to an energy healer. And the energy healer, she actually started off saying that what she does is tied to the Bible and she was called by God to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know much at all about Reiki. I've heard of it. And also, like, when you're on Instagram, I don't know about you, but like, do y'all get lots of followers from people who call themselves healers, psychics, tarot readers? They'll follow you, then they get in your inbox and they want to offer you a reading, so because it comes off like a sales pitch, I just pretty much ignore it. I grew up Baptist, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? I've been baptized, but Keke was asking questions when the lady opened up with this ties to the Bible, and I was called by God to do this. Keke asked, well, how does this tie into the Bible? Because I was actually told, that if it ain't about Jesus, just don't even be open to it. And the lady was like, well, people who talk like that actually have not really read the Bible thoroughly. But she didn't, or unless production edited it out, we didn't see the lady drop any scripture addresses on what the energy healing, how it ties in, or the chakras. Now, I have learned a little about the chakras because I follow like Queen Afua. She's like an herbalist. She's vegan. And she also does like sound bowl therapy and talks about the chakras. So I do know a little bit about that. But the Reiki energy healing and anything like with tarot readings, I don't really know much about, but that's what this scene was giving. And then Stormy and Keke pretty much talked things out. And Keke was saying, like, I was listening to you when we were talking at the spa day. I did hear you. I did hear the things that you were saying. And then when the energy reader in this scene, she had her stone in her hand and she was like going down like the back of their body from like the top of their head down the back with the stone. When she was like, I guess, reading Stormy's energy, she was like, you have a huge heart, and people don't understand that you're on another level when it comes to energy. And Stormy was like, I cry a lot, but Stormy, did the energy reader know that you were going to curse out Black Titanic in the parking lot the other day? She didn't pick up on that. But yeah, I guess you can't pick up on every single thing that's going to happen, right? But anyway, ain't nobody perfect, I know. But yeah, the energy healer, she had her reading, and then we saw what happened like on film. But back to Keke, she was saying to Keke, the energy healer told her, you think too much and you overthink. And she said that your words are powerful. And Keke said in her confessional, she felt like the energy healer was on point with that. She said, I do try to really focus on my words because I only want to encourage and uplift each other and uplift others. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm totally feeling Keke. I like how she expresses herself when she's doing interviews. I don't know if it's nervousness or anxiety, but she seems to be very wordy, very verbose. But in her confessionals and in her scenes in this episode in particular, I just love Keke. I feel like she's that chick you can go and have dinner with, grab drinks with, and you're going to have good conversation about life. And I feel like she's approachable, where you can open up to her and be 100%, and she's not going to be like, oh my gosh, you can totally be 100 with her. Let me know how you all feel about Keke as well. So then we have this scene between, this is like another set of Beavis and Butthead with Maurice and Martell. Martell decides to recap Maurice about the birthday party and how he was not invited. And then Maurice was actually telling Martell that he cannot get the boy Monster to obey. And he's like, oh, he's like 15. And Martell says that when he was that age, he was bad as hell. He was getting into trouble. I believe he used the term, did he use the term boys home? That's what it was like giving when he said he was getting into trouble. So he said, now is when you want to nip it in the bud with Monster. And so I just kind of felt like on one end, it seemed very much so rehearsed or scripted, because it seemed like Martell and Maurice were almost trying to give each other codes, like what to say next. Yeah, so what about Monster? He's like, oh yeah, I can't get Monster to obey. And how old is he? And and what happened at the party? So it seemed like a little insincere, but whatever. It was like a filler scene. I guess, they have to get paid, right, for every time they film a scene that airs, which really annoys me with Miss Van, because, like, we have not seen her. Where is she? So then we make it to the high tea, y'all. Now, after we discuss this high tea, I'm also going to share some tweets that Melody tweeted out last night. But so the ladies are here. Tiffany, I've never seen a pregnant woman talk so much shit. Okay. She really ask for it every single season, doesn't she? Now, I know she just really wants to be on TV. That's what it gives. But she really crosses boundaries verbally. She may not physically go there with people, but verbally, she totally does. And it gives Karen vibes because, like, Karens, they say some of the most horrible, offensive, disrespectful things to the point where people want to meet them physically. And that's the energy that Tiffany gives me. Let me know if y'all disagree, if it's too harsh, but Tiffany gives me Karen. So anyway, they all sat down, and so they're being polite, and the beautiful Nell. Can we all just give it up for Mrs. Nell Fletcher? Isn't she gorgeous? She actually says, let's just get down to the nitty gritty. There is an energy in this room. And the energy seems to be between Melody and Stormy. She threw it out there, and I feel like the lady who responded to Nell, who was neither Melody nor Stormy, I think that she responded to Miss Nell out of sheer jealousy and hateration. So we have Nell and her beauty, and then we have this person. And she responds to Nell saying that, have you ever thought that maybe the energy is not between Melody and Stormy, but between Melody and somebody else? And Nell said, well, no, I was just, see, I hate when, like, as soon as you express yourself, somebody is ready to, like, come and, like, attack you. That's exactly what this lady did to Nell. And so what if it's between you and Melody? Your Stormy's mom, Nell, wasn't too far off now, was she? But I really think it was because the beautiful woman in the room said something. And I think her jealousy kicked in for Nell's beauty, and then she had to respond to her. That's what I think. Now, y'all, we have to go down the rundown of everything that Miss Betty has said that this is the reason why she don't like Melody. If I have a scribe in the house or a secretary that's going to type in the chat, because we got to take the minutes on this one. So, Miss Betty told Miss Wanda here on YouTube some months back that she was mad at Melody because Melody told someone when they were casting for this show that Stormy was ghetto. So that's somebody put that down in your minutes. She told Miss Wanda that Melody called her child ghetto. Then Anonymous, you be the scribe, because we have to take minutes on this. Okay, because this lady has given all sorts of answers as to why she don't like Melody. So you're my scribe, okay? Thank you. Awesome. Yes. Then she tells Carlos, when Carlos interviewed them on his YouTube channel, that she got mad at Melody for agreeing with her that her grandbaby's chest is spoiled. So someone agrees with you and you don't like them. You say that you don't need anyone to back you up. And that's why you don't like her. So that was reason number 2, which was, as far as I can see, she's not adding them up, but it's different reasons why she doesn't like Melody. Reason number 2 was because Melody agreed that Stormy's kid is spoiled. Now today, number 3, we learn that she does not like Melody based off of a tweet when Melody allegedly said that someone had been trying to record her, and she wanted Melody to explicitly say, Stormy did not record me. She said, you kept it vague. Well, yeah, you keep it vague when you're not sure if you've been recorded. You keep it vague when you don't have receipts on whoever recorded you. She don't know. She don't know who recorded her and if she was recorded. Okay, so Anonymous has recorded the second reason. Melody agreed with Betty/Medusa that chest is spoiled. That's perfect. Thank you. And again, that third reason we learn in the high tea, it is because Melody didn't explicitly say that Stormy did not record her. Thank you, Anonymous. Melody needed to say Stormy did not record Melody's last final episode. Thank you, darling. Perfect. All right, so now here is the tweet. Y'all remember this? Melody says, ciao. So who the hell recorded this convo? And that was when Destiny played a recording of Melody, basically just saying how Martell is with always trying to control her and track her. And Destiny played the clip for Martell and Chris Fletcher. I always thought that was actually an interview that Melody did. But even if it was or was not, so, oh, Anonymous is saying allegedly that it was Carlos. Oh, because definitely production does not see it for the Rogers, for Melody and Miss Van, because we have not seen Miss Van. I am a fan of Miss Van. Y'all know I adore her. And where is she? So I don't appreciate that. So then we have Tiffany versus Keke. And again, Keke, last night somebody said Keke is the MVP. I totally get it, baby. She is Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, whoever your favorite fighter is. And I don't know who Tiffany is, y'all. I don't watch boxing like that to see who's the absolute worst. But, Tiffany, like I said earlier, she thinks that she's better than Keke. That's what she gives off. She puts on airs when it comes to Keke. And she was trying to say, I don't really know you, Keke. Like how Nene did Phaedra years ago, and they grew up in the same small town. And Phaedra's brother went to school with Nene, and they were good friends. But oh, I don't know you. That's how Tiffany does Keke. Keke said in her confessional, "My son played on her husband's baseball team. We had conversation about her trying to find out who her dad was, and there was some." Background or history of her family being in Utah. And Keke said that she has a friend from there or who lives there. And Tiffany was trying to make light of their conversation about something so serious and dear to you, Tiffany. Why would you even discuss the fact that you've been trying to find your dad with someone whom you don't know? That's something that should be so dear to your heart. Why would you even discuss that with her? And then Keke was sincere about it and wanted to try and help you. And then you make light about it around everyone. So I didn't appreciate that at all. So now here are some tweets. Let's go through them. So Melody says, I ain't about to be held responsible for how social media reacts to things. I totally agree, Melody. When we're all trying to piece things together, everybody says sometimes it's just people just joking, shooting the breeze. We all know how the Facebook group gets down. You're not responsible for everyone's behavior, Melody. I totally agree. We can all have issues with how people do things. Absolutely. It's just you can't keep up. Anonymous has already notated for us 3 different reasons. None of them are connected. None of them are a reflection of another of why Betty doesn't like you, darling. Melody, the lady just wants to have a reason to not like you. She's being a player hater on your youth and your beauty, and she don't like it. That's her problem, not yours. Melody says, I've been around this mother a few times and I've never had an issue, nor had she treated me like she had one. Too bad I wasn't aware of her feelings towards me before I actually met her, because I would have definitely stayed far away. Totally agree. That is a page out of my book, baby. If I know you don't F with me, I'm not going to purposely go out of my way to try and be in your space. You know how people say, oh, I made her speak. I made her speak. I always felt like that was a waste of energy. Okay, so you made somebody who you know don't care about you speak. So what now? Did it make you more money? Did it improve your health? Or, how did it enhance your life? If they don't F with you, you shouldn't F with them. Point blank, period. Comma, exclamation mark, whatever you want to add. So I totally get that. And so with this tweet, I've only been around this mother a few times. I never knew that she had an issue with me, nor had she treated me like she had one. So Betty was faking. If you're being cordial and respectful towards somebody that you have 3 different issues or it's a different issue depending on the day, why would you even spend time and space with someone like that? Then Melody says, I really try to sit back, listen to people and hear them out before I respond. I try to be respectful in communication. I'm going to hear you and hopefully you hear me. So Stormy chimed in with Nell and was rude to her. Like maybe, my mom was speaking because maybe you're not privy to some things that has happened. And Nell said, well, I didn't say that I did know. Nell, see, all Nell did was acknowledge the tension between Stormy and Melody. She didn't know it had nothing to do with the mama either. Because what real interactions has Melody had with Miss Betty for her to react that way? And as we can see, it's been 3 different reasons. Anonymous says, this is production for Wanda 2.0 recreation. I totally agree. Miss Reese, happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you so much for being here. There is another tweet that I want to show you all. But I thought you had a problem already before a tweet, so I'm not so sure. Right, Melody? It was 2 different reasons. They are right here. First, Miss Betty said she didn't like Melody because allegedly Melody said Stormy was ghetto. Then she told Carlos Melody agreed with Betty/Medusa that Chess is spoiled. Then last night, she said that Melody needed to say Stormy did not record Melody's last final episode. So she's just finding a reason not to like this lady. And I want to know what you all think of this episode. Like, I'm ready for the reunion already because I need Carlos to explain why we have not seen Miss Van. Is this retaliation for the audience blacking out the show to get rid of Wanda? Are you taking it out on Miss Van? Miss Van didn't tell the viewers to stand up for what they believed in, and they did not want to see an adult come after a child's paternity or try to put their hands on the mother. Hey, Anonymous, how are you?
Hello. Happy Mother's Day to all of you lovely mothers
That's
and
right.
future mothers or mothers in spirit, like I am with you, Showstyles
That's,
in Spirit.
that's right.
Uh,
Happy Mother's Day. What are your thoughts?
well, I love my sorority sister, Melody Sharif, for having us be bourgeois, bougie, or ghetto bougie with the T. It was lovely. They just have a clip on OWN talking about the lady who was doing the event, gave the history of how the tea came about
Oh,
in
wow.
England. So it's if you get a chance to just hear the clip, she gave the history of why it happened. So it was just kind of cute. So I said it very informative. So if you get a chance to hear that clip.
I'm going to look for it.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
Melody, thank you as respect to Mama Vanessa for embracing your bouginess. Do not be ashamed because you look at Medusa, she's a hot mess. You want to be classy. Oh, you need to be classy. So
Yes, you
um,
do.
it was great. Yeah,
Did
but you
you?
wanted to go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I said you wanted to talk about Medusa's Wanda 2.0 version of what happened again.
Yes. I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead.
Well, I think this is production storyline by Carlos to make the mothers of Letitia or Stormy attack Melody to bring Melody down from being the star of the show to get with the commoners, in my opinion, allegedly. I don't think it's working. I think Nail and as well as Melody and the lady who was there handled it quite well. But I think they just don't understand. It's just, you know, we're Melody has a right to leave Martell.
Yes, she does.
Oh, Carlos, I don't know if you heard that yesterday, an hour after the show, Carlos and Hotel did their podcast trying to debunk everything that was happening that was against them. And it's just, Hotel is completely delusional. When
Yeah.
you hear him talk, he's talking about things that happened while he was married to Melody, not after the divorce. But
Yeah.
he's trying to persuade everybody to get it. And Carlos is not helping him. Oh, they're asking why I don't. Her mother, Wanda. That's why I don't acknowledge. Anybody that attacked my sorority sister on the thing and then tried to defend that woman attacking her twice, you are
Yeah.
not my sorority sister, and I'm not going to claim you. I'm not.
That's your right.
Yeah, that's not sisterly. And I know at least if she is a part of it, she knows better. That's why I asked her the question when Wanderer came on to Anthony Lofty's thing, why you would do that. Because
Yeah.
your sister, you shouldn't treat your sister like that by
Right.
any of your family members. So
What did you
I'm not going to elevate her as being one when she doesn't act like one, and neither does her mother.
What did you think about Stormy cursing, dropping F-bombs in front of her mom when the lady said, when you curse like that, it's because you have a lack of vocabulary?
Now that was very tasteful. It's amazing. It's like you can tell. Even do you see that scene where Keke and Stormy were trying to make up, and then Stormy was so emotional when the woman said something to her? I'm like, look,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, Nancy Reagan was right. Just say no to drugs. That is the problem with Stormy. Stormy, it looks like she's high. She's
Allegedly.
manic, allegedly, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And from the YouTube videos that she's done of the Friday remake, as well as her drug use remake, she's not there. And so she doesn't understand that what her mother is doing. I really think her mother's trying to sabotage her. Uh,
You think so?
like Wanda's trying to sabotage Letitia. They
Oh,
have a disdain for her success.
you think so? That's
Yeah,
terrible.
I think her mother is sabotaging Stormy because one, if you look at her face, she's so angry.
Mm-hmm.
Medusa is,
Mm-hmm.
um, and um, and Wanda has the same way. They're just too mean, and it's not necessary. Look at her. I mean, look at that. That she looks angry. She looks upset
Yeah.
that she wasn't successful and her daughter is, and you could tell she's saying things to specifically destroy her daughter.
Yeah. She's very much like, come on, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Like,
she wants to fight.
yeah,
It's like Wanda. They just want to fight.
yeah.
And they're mad at the world because they probably came from hard life. They probably did drugs. They shouldn't have done it, or they had a bad upbringing. And you could tell they want to attack Vanessa as well as Melody because they come from being a lady, have a woman of stature. So I just think Medusa, that's my nickname for her, is really trying to sabotage her daughter. And she's doing this with these scenes. She's a lackey for Carlos, but see, Carlos, in my opinion, he likes this. He likes having the women attacking women,
Yes.
and elevate men to treat women like dirt. And I think it's getting. I think that's why the petitions are coming out, and we're tired of it. It's getting to the point where these Stormy shouldn't have not have been on this show if they would have done a background check on her and her husband. I don't care if they do that Canvas Beauty. They weren't fit. They couldn't even get on Bell Collective. They're not fit to be on this. You can tell. And if it's true, she might be the one that's actually refusing to film because of her mental health crisis, allegedly.
You think it's Stormy who's refusing?
Yeah, because really, Stormy, I heard OSHA is now investigated her dog and all those other things at that
Yeah.
warehouse, allegedly.
Because that sounded gross, the thought of like a dog walking around, allegedly, just as a rumor. We've heard about the dog being there.
And also, I think the landlord, after the complaints of what happened, probably gave an eviction notice for her as well. She's not, her business is about to tank because of what she's doing. So that's why I said she's not thinking, she's not stable enough to think that when you're a business owner, the public and how you treat the public is different than how you would treat somebody, family members are at home. And you just can't attack everybody because you're mentally not understanding that this is business.
Yeah.
You know, you overextended yourself. You decided to go to all the retail, but you didn't. You're having your family members help you. You know, you don't have a proper staff. They're not properly put
Equipped.
equipped with attire like gloves,
Yeah.
sanitation, other things. You got dogs running around. You got your husband Courtney. Allegedly, he has a criminal record. He's on probation. So you, and that's why I didn't understand you saying a pow pow on the thing with Black Titanic during the phone call. What I'm saying is they're not. They should have done a background check on these people. Most of these people, including the snot, should not have been on this show. That's why you see the tension, in my opinion, allegedly, between Melody and these folks, because they're not equally yoked in terms of being able to do business and talk of things. And
I
it's a
totally agree.
hostile work environment, because when you have people that are in the gutter or in the hog pen, what they want to do, they want to it's a crab in the barrel mentality. You want to have everybody else come down to where you are. So that's why I was happy with this tea time. You got a chance to see the two different views of society and culture. One civilized, one uncivilized. They're not civilized.
What do you think about the tension between Tiffany and Keke?
Um, well, I think Keke decided to clap back because she didn't clap back at the what do you call it? At the when they were getting the massage.
Yeah.
So Keke had to come back and get a clap back there. She had to think of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
she was offended really with what she did. I'm taking this as a continuation of
From the spa.
the spa day.
Okay.
Because remember, Letitia had to hold her face to calm her down.
Yes. She was hot.
She was irate. So with what Tiffany and also Stormy were doing. And also, you're going to get some T-show styles.
Okay.
The person to the right of Keke.
That pretty young girl was like a hairdresser.
That is the hairdresser of Letitia, but also one of the good friends of the peasant.
Oh no. To carry back information to coleslaw.
Yes, so that means Letitia or Latifa. What connection do you have with the peasant?
That is so shady. Do we know her name, the hairdresser?
I know on Anthony Lofty's live, he saw the pic and the stuff. I don't know, but it's very interesting why you wanted to bring that there with
Yeah.
Melody, especially if you're trying to reestablish things. But like I said, I'm not, that's probably one of the reasons why Letitia was so quiet
Yes.
this episode.
Oh,
Very
Tish, that's
quiet.
so shady. Yeah, because she wasn't like antagonizing towards Melody. She wasn't trying to argue with anyone. She was unusually quiet.
Well, yeah, because remember when they were eating, when Kimmie, the bone collector, told about her cancer, the C
Mhm.
word, to the
Mhm.
at the dinner, she
Mhm.
wore the peasant's outfit.
That's right. One of
So
her
it's her
designs.
subtle way of giving shade, but
Yes.
Melody don't care.
No, Melody sure doesn't. Okay, so that is the hairdresser. I wonder, does Tish ever tag her on Instagram? I can take a look to try and look for
I
this
think
girl.
there's one where the peasant and this lady was on talking on a live. If
Okay.
you look at Anthony Lofty's thing, he was there. But I'm just saying, you could tell production brought her as an extra cast. This was messy. They asked Melody, look at Melody's Instagram, I think last night, they asked about it, and Melody was like, well, it was invited by Letitia. So she brought her there.
That was her plus one. They're terrible. But they always think that they're hurting Melody, but she doesn't care.
Honey, they're the ones that are about to lose their jobs. I'm like looking at these people like, you don't, you guys don't understand. Your what do you call it? It's called T Squad. Where's our T Squad people? Where the T
I think,
Squad folks?
yeah, where are they?
Yeah, why aren't they helping them in the ratings?
I know.
You're supposed to
Sometimes,
rally your T Squad. Why aren't you rallying your people?
exactly. So I'm going through Mel's IG stories. It's lots of reviews for her skincare line. So let's
I think it
see.
was last night. I'm trying to remember. I know Anthony did it last night, but it's
Go ahead. I'm listening.
yeah, but Anthony did it last night because he showed the clip on the Instagram because they were like, "Who's this young lady?" But Melody at least said that that was Letitia's invitee, so she brought her.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sure someone will probably get some tea on this girl and some information.
Yeah, but she was on a post. We saw it. She was actually doing a video with the peasant looking like a werewolf, and they
Oh
were
my
talking. Yeah.
Because I was watching Anthony Lofty's live, and I remember going to Coleslaw's Instagram. I was like, is she live right now, or did she go live earlier? If she did go live earlier, she did not save it because I could not find a video of her and that young lady.
Okay, but I know if you look at Anthony, he showed his phone and showed that she was talking to that young lady
Oh my. I'm
on
looking
his
at
live.
Coleslaw's IG right now.
Yeah, but it's a like I said, I do believe I do agree with one of the chat. It's Carlos because he wants the mess. He's still trying to elevate Hotel in all essence or women like Letitia or Wanda. So that's
Mhm.
why he's upset that Melody would not go back to Hotel to have this fake marriage for him to be elevated.
So, Anonymous, I want to ask you a question, like your opinion on what their contracts must look like, because they must sign on to say they understand if the production company edits out their scenes or does not put them in any episodes. I want to ask you, do you think such a clause would be in like a TV contract? And number two, do you think reality TV stars, they can only make money if they appear in an episode? Because if that's the case, it's like they're totally punishing Miss Van for Miss Wanda's actions in season 5. And I'm just concerned, like, I don't think Miss Van should not make any money off this season because of like a workplace retaliation.
Well, she was in that episode. He did give her credits, at least in terms of her name being shown.
Okay.
Like she was there. This is the thing, and maybe this is my view with Carlos. Carlos is like Hotel in that he is, I believe he has the 10 traits of being a narcissistic sociopath.
Mhm.
Um, that's probably why he likes Hotel so much.
Yeah.
When they don't get their way or they get punished, see, we have to go back to 2 or 3 seasons ago. Remember, he had that Carlos King nightcap?
Yeah.
And remember, he was bringing Wanda to elevate her and talk nasty about cast members and Melody, the
Hmm.
first episode. He was the one that was creating that chaos with Wanda being so crazy, attacking Melody and everybody else.
Hmm.
But I think he did that with the blessing of Hotel because she left him. She's tired of him. Um, he is a misogynist, just like Hotel and the rest of them. But so after the Madani situation happened, guess what shows got ended? Carlos Nightcap didn't get renewed.
Yeah. Very good point.
Wanda and also Destiny, which is from Detroit, like Carlos is, were removed from the show. They've been trying to film, but in order for us to please Melody and Vanessa because of what happened, you had that. The whole Pookie incident, we call him that Scott, came in even though there was an order of protection that Vanessa had where he couldn't be nowhere near her. They
Yeah.
put him on the show.
That's
So,
terrible. In
yeah.
5 minutes of looking at the guy on your TV screen, you can tell, allegedly.
Well, he was saying bad statements on YouTube that if there was a fire, he would watch as someone burned and burn with him. Now, that's what I'm saying he's saying. So he's not all there. So it was a clear and present danger to Vanessa Rogers Tracy, right?
Hello, Nina. Okay, she muted. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So in essence, After Carlos basically got debunked or booted because Melody and the content creators and the public had enough, he's going to do retaliation. So remember when Wanda made that comment on what's that on Anthony Lofty's live, because he asked where was Vanessa? Well, you haven't
Yes.
seen no other woman, so she gave the Freudian slip. So Carlos is trying to say one thing to Melody, but he's doing something else with production in the cutting.
Yeah. Like I hope like they're having meetings. See, it's terrible because like I can look, I've worked enough like professional jobs to know when somebody's effing with someone. I've worked with a guy, he happened to be a Caucasian who was gay. Like I've seen people meddle with him. I've been meddled with. So I feel like I'm watching a show that's almost like a corporate job. And I feel like they're meddling with Melody and Miss Van. First it was the cast, now it's production. And,
Yeah.
it really bothers me. It
But
upsets
I
me.
tell you this, and this is the thing, maybe Melody's understanding. The Madani and Pookie situation was much worse than what's going on now. But she was effectively able to counter it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
A person like Carlos and Hotel, they're not going to stop trying to make you be a slave or an object.
Hmm.
But what you have to do is counter it. You have to put the boundaries up. You have to put the castle up. You have to know how to maneuver against a misogynist type of business or even Hollywood, because there's a reason why Carlos is able to go from platform to platform to attack Black women. There's an agenda, okay? And what people have to understand is, and I think I said this on Diana Rose, is it's disheartening because we hope that with the 19th Amendment, with the Civil Rights Movement and others, we're not dealing with this. But what Melody and Vanessa are showing us, there's a way to still play this chess match effectively. And we have to use the pressure of the public, the content creators, as well as know who the real issue or enemy is. She was able to figure it out by understanding it was Hotel
Hmm.
and effectively ended him. Now you have to go to the other head of the snake. It's Carlos.
Yes.
He's the issue. So, I heard that she's still filming, which is a blessing. But this is the part where we, as the public, like we did with Madani, the fight, because it was much worse. I mean, it was much worse. We have to come in and help rally her to help protect Vanessa as well as Melody, because I still believe Carlos Queen and Hotel are trying to force Melody to get off her show.
That's terrible. I feel like
That's,
that too, but
yeah,
I don't want
it's
her to
a
be forced out.
goal, because really, I don't think they're trying to make the public think that she doesn't have power like she did. And that's why I was saying the Madani fight was worse. And she didn't quit because their goal was to make her quit. You get what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes,
By
absolutely.
not quitting, she saw the power of the negotiation and how to change. So this is just another battle. It's the same thing. You gotta figure out, well, what is your power? It's really the content creators and the consumers and the women who watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I've always said this, and I said this on Diana Rose and others, this is a turf war. It's always been a turf war. Carlos wanted to elevate, and I think I told you this, I believe Carlos wanted to elevate the men and
Hmm.
have the women be like Letitia and Wanda.
Yeah.
He's never changing. He's trying to get Cougar Peach Cobbler to do the same thing with Cherie coming in. I want women to be doormats. That's how he views us. And I know you've seen clips of when he's done interviews with Martell and then others, he's showing that he's a misogynist.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to change. Well, what is it we have to do? Well, we're not going to go back. We're not going back to that philosophy because that's
Exactly.
dangerous. So we have to basically put pressure on the companies and you name it to get a better direction. Now, I think When they had Dr. Francis on the show, that's where the highest ratings came because people were able to deal with the mental illness of Hotel and the others, the dialogue. But our biggest thing is right now because Carlos knows he's cornered and he doesn't have really any other place to go. And rumors have been saying that Carlos, and this is what might be sad, but I'm going to say it, allegedly, in my opinion. I'm thinking Carlos planned this whole thing with Melody and Martell to mess up their marriage so that he could have him go with somebody at Real Housewives of Atlanta to try and pick that apart with Andy.
But Martell had already screwed up his marriage by disrespecting his wife for so long. You think that the producer was hoping it would end in divorce? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying this. It's kind of odd that Carlos is so attached to this guy named Hotel and wants to make him be elevated so much to go on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I think he has an obsession with Bravo.
He does because he got fired. He's upset that he got fired. Yeah. But his goal has always been, I hate the other person left. I hope she comes back up. His goal has always been, I believe, because he talks about it too much. He talks about Bravo too much. And I've never seen a person go into a new network with OWN where you had 1 million to now, just talk about Bravo so much. But I really feel sad because after Carlos discards Hotel, in my opinion, Melody's never taken him back.
Oh, no.
His kids, he's lost his family just to be a star, in his opinion.
Yeah. I'm going to circle back to you, Anonymous. I wanted to give Nina a chance. Nina, what did you think of this week's episode? And thank you for being here.
Hey, ladies. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
I hope everyone is being blessed and they're happy. Hi, Anonymous, the professor and lawyer.
Hello, Nina. How you doing?
Hey, well, I was just kind of pinging off some of the points that Anonymous was making. And in accord to Carlos being a misogynist or a Neanderthal caveman, that type of mentality, he does like women who so-called know their place in that world. So that's why he likes Wanda and Tisha, anyone that can just going to let their man thinks he's in charge, and any bright ideas that the man comes up with, really it's theirs, but he's going to go ahead and let him think it's his, that type of thing. So yeah. And he said it, all men cheat, whatever. These wives get the agreements, but Melody and Martell did not have an agreement to cheat. That's the thing. If there is an agreement, guys, I didn't even know I was cut off.
Oh,
I don't know where
we've heard most of what you said. You stopped at if there was no agreement.
Right. There was no agreement between Melody and Martell to cheat. That's not their agreement. So that's what Carlos is missing when he says these women make agreements. Well, those are those women if they've made an agreement with their husbands or whoever, and that's the problem with people cheating and stepping out of their marriage. It's out of the agreement between they haven't included the other person in that. And there was no discussion or talk about it. So I think moving forward, and this is just in relationships at all, people do change. Sometimes you can think you know a person until you actually get with them, and you have to have check in on each other and see where each other is. And if we don't agree, we just can separate or figure something out. But I'm on my phone, guys. It's driving me crazy. But well, that's good, baby. My grandboys, you go in there, meet me on the phone. Okay, so yeah, that was my thing about that. Also, but you guys did discuss it because it was on my mind too. That Melody is quite aware of Carlos being an issue, and she just plays along with him. Take that in there, thank you. She just playing the game, and I think sometimes it's a challenge for her. You know what I mean? It's got to be like, I'm going to beat these guys. They're not going to just come in and take over. You know what I mean? My show. This is my baby.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with you 100%.
And so and Carlos hates it. He does. But after a while, they'll be owning on if they don't be careful. Mel will be the producer of somebody's show. She's gonna own if they don't get it together with these misogynistic, ways. And Carlos does have a certain belief, and it's definitely showing in his production style, and it shouldn't, but he can't help it. I don't know what his thing is with Martell. I've never seen anything like that, where he
He
just takes him out and they hang out and go on interviews. It's weird, but I want him to find Martell his own money. Y'all, you know what? I don't like it, but I'm thinking like, well, if he can find Martell something to cling to after this show is over, I'll be so happy so he can leave Mel alone. Find him
He
something to
ain't
do.
gonna leave Mel alone, Nina.
He got to, girl. He got to.
The only way he leaves her alone if he's unalived, he's in prison, or he's in a psych ward. That's it.
What was that movie where the man had the accident and was in a wheelchair? You think he'll leave alone if he's in a wheelchair?
No. If he still has a
he will
brain
try
to
to
talk,
talk
I'm
to
just
him.
telling you, this
Oh,
man.
so he don't need his brain. Okay.
I'm just telling you, if you look at that interview he did, he's so fixated with Melody.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's
It is
scary.
scary, but I think that's because, and it's his fault. Mel left. She tried to have a conversation with him about the businesses, but he was so busy acting like Twirl and not Tell. He said, "I don't want anything. I don't want this and that." Then after he thought about it, he said, "Hey, I didn't get the right deal, or people got in his ear. Why did you do that? Why did you let her do that?" But that is Martell's fault. He did. He allowed that to happen. Now he wants to come back and try to get sugar mama money in a custody battle. How you gonna do that? I just never. I thought that would be something that you handle in your divorce, not in a custody battle. So he's having second thoughts about that. His friends feel like he's just was thrown out, which he should have been thrown out. He really didn't deserve anything. He reaped the benefits of the relationship, and then he had 5 years to get it together. So I don't know why they continue to dislike Mel. Mel hung with you guys for years and it was not a problem. But she had to elevate. And, Tisha, Tissue, and Kim, oh, it's so bougie. I know they wish they would have went on to the bougie events. Yeah, you should have went. You should have got on up and went. Mel wasn't acting bougie. That's why y'all still stuck in the same place. You really don't have a lot of personal growth. Tisha is struggling with it, but she doesn't. I mean, they're kind of stuck in the same rut. Personally, you have to have personal growth, and all these made up businesses, child, please. I don't know. It's the craziest stuff I've ever seen. But I don't know. I didn't have much more to say than that I can think of. You know what I mean? But yeah, Carlos is crazy. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I don't know what's going on between. It's weird, and I can't wait for it to come out. Why is he doing this with Martell?
It's called Brokeback Mountain remake, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but okay, this is what guys, this is what I wanted to mention. Okay, after the show went off, God darn it, my phone keeps logging me out and it's in my hand. It's driving me crazy. It's not supposed to do that. My screen is timing out. But anyway, after the show went off, they said something about in June, there was going to be some type of show about Detroit. Now, who is going to be in that, guys? Did y'all hear that?
Love and Marriage Detroit. I did hear some months back.
I don't know did they say Love and Marriage Detroit? I know Detroit was mentioned, but I couldn't get the gist of what it was supposed to be about in Detroit. Is it Love and Marriage?
I've heard that there was a Love and Marriage Detroit pilot that was shot some months back in 2022. And if you Google Love and Marriage Detroit, if you just Google that, a couple of people, their pictures do pop up as producers, but I don't know if it's a full-on show.
Well, they were saying that's where a lot of them were from, right? Am I correct? Marcel, Carlos, is it Detroit, right?
Pontiac and Detroit.
Yeah, Pontiac is the Snots, and Detroit is what Carlos and Destiny are from.
Okay, so I'm thinking, who's going to be in that? I'm like, I didn't even know that was really going on. But they did mention it, that it's coming on in June. Whatever it is, it's happening in June. So I want to know who's going to be on that. What's going with that T?
I don't want Carlos to record anything or do anything. He destroys too many families for me.
He's crazy.
Needs to take a sabbatical.
He's really, very manipulative. He is a puppet master.
What do you think about because I feel like not just this episode, but overall, Tish has been very quiet and mellow. Obviously, the biggest thing is because her mama hasn't been filming with her. What do you all think is the real one? Do you think it's the mouthy one when her mom is around, or is it this quiet, mellow Tisha? Which one is more like her?
Well, Mellow Nut Tisha. What is it called? The Mellow Nuts? She's one. Well, why was she bringing this hairstylist? She could have been bringing her cousin back, the one that was supposed to be going into business with her that we already met. So it's weird to me to see her bring in this. We didn't know who the lady was. She wasn't looking up to par. She kind of seemed out of place. She needed some tweaking. She wasn't up to standard with the rest of the ladies, and she didn't have much to say. I don't know why Tisha brought her there. Where was her cousin at?
To be
The other
messy.
cousin.
She brought
Yeah.
the friend to be messy.
So
And Anonymous clarified what and I watched Anthony Lofty's live about this young lady to the
I
right.
did as well. Yes, yes.
And
And
she's
I'm like, why? Yeah. So
she's
that's why you've got to look at her actions.
right. She's
Stormy
the
self-destruct.
hairdresser of Tisha and related to Coleslaw's friend, but she does Tisha's hair. But she didn't even give her like a proper introduction, or unless production edited it out. But yeah, you're right. She didn't even bring her cousin on, Courtney, who's a
That
realtor.
we already knew. We already met. That would have made sense, right?
That's a good point.
That wouldn't have even brought up a red flag. Okay, Courtney's back. Okay, the cutie one. We thought she was a little on the cute side and looked like Tisha. Why not her? Why this lady? So I'm looking at the actions. Um, but I think it's still a combined effort, which that's what kind of makes it more tumultuous because it's all of them in a group. Separately, Stormy's going to self-destruct if she don't get it together. And as I said on somebody, I was saying that she doesn't invest in her craft. She needs to stay in master classes to learn. She doesn't know everything, and she's admit that. So why don't we see you learning? Oh, I've got classes that I'm going to work on this in relations, public relations with my customer relations and things like that. She doesn't invest in those things for herself. She's winging it. And like you said, because they are hood, they are very, and I ain't nothing wrong with it, but the whole thing of the Tea Party was this. It's okay to have that dimension of yourself. But when you're working around business, there's a certain way to behave. And it's a certain way, even though people do get out of order, but it's a time and place the majority of the time, right? You can't mingle and make connections if I'm saying, unless you have to establish a brand first. You can't make that first impression of cursing people out and things like that. Now once you get to know them, you'll find out they probably put it pretty much as hood to love it anyway. You know what I mean? But it's a certain etiquette. And Mel always has known her lane. Stormy is trying to figure out her lane. Mel knows her lane and she knows how to stay in it. And then she can navigate everybody else's lane. I just love Mel. She's amazing, because she does have a lot of input and guidance, and her discernment is great. She handles them. She does. She's got them. But it's a lot for one person. We're all human. And I know I take care of everyone pretty much in my family. And I look so strong. I'm Superwoman. But I'm human. You know what I mean? So people may look at me like, oh, well, she's got it. No, I mean, and a lot of times the people that seem the strongest are the most ones because they have to be, they may just be crumbling. You never know. But I'm not going to continue. I just wanted to kind of make those points. And like I said, I was pinging off of some of the other information that was being talked about. And I'm just, it's a tongue. It's something I don't know. I really try. I know Anonymous say that Carlos and Mark Twirl, he's twirling then, or, they have a relationship of some sort. Did they get a chance to do some hanky panky? Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Peach
Maybe
Cobbler is the beard of the
yeah,
relationship.
I'm thinking maybe
Carlos.
I'm thinking Carlos wants to take Martell with him. He wants him to go with him somewhere. I've got you. I'm going to take you with me. He doesn't do that for anybody else on the show, and that's what makes it so weird. Nobody.
Yeah, it's very unusual for a producer and on-air talent to do a whole string of interviews. You've never seen that before.
And
right. It is so crazy.
And the touching, y'all. The touching is just
I know they have more fun. I mean, like that's me and my man. We have fun. We crack up. Yes, baby. Yes. Over there grinning and yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Carlos is something else. Like I said, the devil's advocate. I gotta watch that movie because it's the same type of manipulation.
Yeah, but he's only able to do it with dumb folks. Have you noticed? Cougar Peach
For
Cobbler
sure.
and
Yeah.
Hotel. Very dumb.
Sheree, you're right, Anonymous. Sheree is a perfect example because when we first learned of them dating, I thought to myself, well, he knew he couldn't date Kenya because Kenya would have said, is that the guy that cheated on his wife and had the baby? You know, why would I?
Kenya liked the attention. I'm sorry. Kenya is jealous. She's
She would
jealous
not
of
have dated
Marsh
Martell.
Twirl, and she's jealous because why in the world? And that was weird to me when they were at that reunion and she snatched the phone from Sheree's hand. I would have said, "Girl, you know, get out my business." Remember, she just jumped over, and that was weird to be on a
But,
reunion snatching somebody's
but
phone.
I don't
And
think she
Martell,
I don't
Kenya
think
is
she's jealous
very
of
jealous.
Martell Sheree. Not of him. No, I don't think she would want him at all because
She likes his attention. She's one of those. I want the attention.
she
And
knows he's
she's
already
jealous
got
of him giving
five
her his attention to someone else. She just wants him
kids.
like for little pets. You know what I mean? And he's being someone else's pets. He's not supposed to be that person's pet. I'm supposed to be able to just string him along and let him go when I get ready.
I don't
She
think
is jealous
so.
of the attention. Yes.
I don't
And,
think
and in a
she
way
would
that he talked to her at that party really infuriated her. I'm telling you, that girl was
Who
mad.
are you talking about?
Yeah, because he was
Kenya, I think they
disrespectful.
did have what they. I think they've had a little conversation more than what's being admitted. But she's just jealous like that. Kenya, you have now. Kenya is okay. You remember when her aunt Laura used to talk to her like she was really now Kenya. When you talk to people like when they just they got a little and you have to calm them down and and you know what I mean. She's always giving me those kind of almost I'm not gonna say psycho, but Kenya is kind of not, you know what I mean? And she does get along better when she's in a relationship. But when she's not in a relationship, honey, she is something else. She cuts up. But I can see a little growth in her. She's not as bad now. She's gotten
Yeah.
away from Mark.
But as
I'm not
far as
surprised that she didn't.
Martell goes, I don't think she would have wanted him. Like, I do think he was in her DMs, but I do
She
think
likes
that
attention.
she
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's got the 5 kids and he cheated on. Like, I know Carlos, I'm convinced that Carlos is the mutual friend that Sheree said set her up with Martell. I do think
Well, they
that's
were saying it was
Carlos.
the
And,
was it
but
the
I know,
manager?
They
I
just
figured
saying that
Carlos
Carlos
could
is paying for
figure,
this.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
behind it.
for
But
sure.
he's
He's
able to say he
behind it
didn't do it
all.
because he
But
had
I think,
somebody else to do
hold
it.
on just 1 second. But I do think that Carlos figured that he could probably get Sheree to date Martell more so than Kenya. Because he knew that Kenya would probably question some things about him. Now, we all know that Kenya does like to have a man, to have someone, but I think that she would have questioned it if it was Martell. But go ahead.
I agree, and I couldn't have imagined her down in Huntsville at that party and Tiffany questioned her. That would have been hilarious.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. But see, Tiffany would have never been able to go there with. I just feel like Kenya would have been like, no, I don't know. But she would want a companion, of course. But she is seeing somebody that we saw in last week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I just think she would have questioned getting with Martell more so than Sheree. I think Carlos knew that he could set this whole thing up with Sheree. She would be the easiest one
Yeah.
to go for it.
I guess for me with Kenya, she didn't really want Apollo. She just liked the attention. You know what I'm saying? I think still thinking about how she acted with Phaedra's husband. When they were married, and she liked the attention and the flirting. You know what I mean? And then she doesn't want anybody else to have that. She just kind of just feels like she just loves that type of attention. Basically.
Yeah, I see your point. And so I'm going to watch the interview between Martell and Carlos, and I'm going to give a commentary in a separate video because I did hear Anonymous last night say, like on Anthony Lofty's live, and I think another live I saw you on Anonymous about how he was just focused on his time with Melody when they were married and almost not acknowledging when they were divorced. And, I feel like people like Carlos and even Kimmie earlier during this season 6, when they were celebrating Kimmie, making it so far in her journey. And, they were saying, yeah, I still see you guys as together, just pretty much feeding that monster that they should not feed. They need to help him learn how to move on versus just almost pretending, fantasizing like they're still together.
Do you think he's doing that on purpose,
Yeah,
Carlos? Because
for
that I
sure.
thought that was odd that he would have somebody in the airport before they even start the interview to basically say that a woman is saying you both need to get back together.
Ugh.
And
Oh, I
then
couldn't stand that.
it kind of just showed his mental illness or mental disorder on screen. Like he's just obsessed with her. And that's why I
Right.
say, if anything, I was shouting from the roofs on other people's contents last night. Look, OWN and Discovery, the higher ups, Carlos does not care for Hotel or anybody's safety at all. You
Yeah.
cannot let this man just go around stalking Melody, harassing Melody because he's poor and he made a bad choice, because he could have not cheated when she gave him one last chance. He refused. But this is they're having it where it's too dangerous for anybody, because let's say the show got canceled, right? Where's Hotel going to go?
Carlos was trying to secure him something in my mind, but wait, I wonder what would happen if Hotel and Carlos got into it, and Hotel tried to jump on Carlos, and you
He would.
now that's see, Carlos needs to understand the deep Marceau. I mean, not Marceau. Martoro has him fooled a little bit. He doesn't know everything that went on in that household. It's not just because I cheated. I left you because you were cheating. There were other things going on as well. It was a lot of disrespect. It was disrespectful cheating. And Martell is very aggressive. So Carlos only sees a certain side of him, I believe. You know what I mean? Because he needs Carlos. You know what I mean? But he hasn't experienced him being jealous or just not getting his way. Or maybe they have. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's so much alike. I don't know. But that would be interesting. I would get my popcorn out on that one. That would be good. But I don't have a lot to say, guys. I wanted to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. I'm doing some things here, and I'm just enjoying the commentary, and styles and shows. I don't remember all the names on it. What can I call you? Just Miss Styles. Miss Styles. I like that.
Ebony, yeah. Or some
Abby.
people say SSS. I've seen that
Okay.
before
Miss
too.
Styles. Mr. Style and her. Yes. Okay. I
Yeah,
like that. But no, I'm just sitting back enjoying because I kind of, a lot of times I'm listening. I'm more of a person I can ping off other people's thoughts sometimes, and
yeah.
I get something, it'll tweak something in my mind. But yeah, so I'm done, and I'm let somebody else give them a chance to talk, and I'll be down in the bushes listening.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you.
That I appreciate you as well. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
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 Anonymous, I have a question. Remember a couple weeks ago when there was some discrepancy with like the title of an episode? It was like someone made an error and gave it a really old episode. It was when Tisha and Marceau were first presenting their Black Expo, and it was named like season 4 or 3 and a different episode number. I always felt like that was a very odd error. Like I've been watching TV since I was a kid. I've just never heard of like a channel naming the episode wrong, even with reality TV. Like it just seemed, did you almost seem like it was kind of like sabotage?
Yeah, I've always believed he's been sabotaging on purpose to
Yeah.
elevate the snobs and
Or like if
Hotel.
you're getting in trouble or maybe you're on your way out, would you try to sabotage?
Well, I think he might be just a figurehead only right now. Like
Okay.
I'm thinking for him to lose Carlos Nightcap, the WeTV thing didn't do well again. The
Hmm.
gospel, whatever the show.
Groaning gospel, yeah.
Um, Love and Marriage DC is not going well. You don't see him doing anything with Bell Collective at all. No advertising.
Yes. I know.
I think he's out. I think he's a figurehead only. And
That
that's
is
why he's trying to sabotage with uh, the production as he goes, in my opinion, allegedly.
Yes. I just thought that was so odd. I'm like, how can a production team get confused on which episode it is? So then people couldn't find it because it was out of like sequential,
Yeah,
order.
couldn't get it, and people who tried to stream it couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the only reason why I say this because everybody's like, well, he wouldn't sabotage his own show. Yes, he would.
Mhm.
If he don't get his way, yes, he would.
Yeah.
The same thing is why Hotel sabotaged his own marriage. If he
Right.
don't get his way, he'll do it. It's a narcissistic trait, in my opinion, allegedly. They do
Exactly.
revenge if they don't get their way because they view it's like squares only can go in circles. They don't think of anything or adapt. They'll destroy it to make it what they want. They don't care.
Wow.
And it's if you look at what Carlos is doing, he's trying to take everybody down with him unless you view his type of ratchetness as what should be on TV. Like he wants to elevate Wanda. He wants to elevate Letitia being diseased in an open marriage and think it's okay. But Melody and the rest of us who are watching this are like, heck no, we're not going to go to that. It's very
Yeah.
nasty. It's very, you got to take penicillin shots just to get your pH balance back up. No, nobody wants that. And then you're dealing with men who allegedly are DL, down low brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really want a woman, they want a man. They're doing activities that act like they want a man in the bedroom, not a woman. But you're telling us that this is what makes you a man. Really? No, it doesn't. It's not. And then they have no respect for marriage. They have no respect for their partner, their family. This is the thing that makes me so upset with Hotel. You have children.
Yes.
Do you really think your children want to see you on your first episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, dropping down your pants with 6 socks in your underwear, having a threesome?
Yeah.
You don't even care? Yeah, you went from having a business with Melody to now you're being a sex trick and a sex slave for money. And he doesn't even get it. He has children, y'all. Even the biggest DL or down low brother would stop. You know what I mean? You would stop. This is not good. So that's why I said whoever is elevating pygmishas, 304s, peasants, you don't want a man to act like that and think so lowly of you. What man to be with a man, he has to, in order for him to have sex, he has to go to every hole in your body. That doesn't make sense. And you're attacking a woman like Melody who says, no, I have boundaries on how I have sex. I don't just act like any type of doormat. I don't want to do that. It's crazy. That's why I said, so I think we're dealing with the spiritual warfare. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. Did you want to look at it, Show Styles of Spirit, since it's Sunday?
The interview between Martell and Carlos?
If you wanted to look at that, we could. I was just going to show you before. I gave this to Silva on one of her things. They have a nice little article regarding the spiritual warfare thing.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is the thing that would help us figure out exactly what's going on. Let me look it up.
Okay.
It's not that long. It's just like a couple of paragraphs, but I was just wanting to read it because this is what we're dealing with, in my opinion, allegedly.
While Anonymous is searching for the article on spiritual warfare, someone posed the question in the chat, like, where is Jalen? I always wondered, like, did Jalen just kind of give in? Did Kimmie ask him after he graduated college, would you just manage their new bar Black? They need a manager. Because I always felt like, why would he take that position? I know they were calling it like a general manager. He has a college degree. He's a young guy. Why doesn't he try to enter like corporate America with his degree instead of working, at the bar Black? But I kind of felt like Kimmie must have asked him to do that. Hi, Hannah. How are you today?
Hello.
What's up, Hannah? Happy Mother's Day, hon.
Happy Mother's Day. Hello.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I was trying to get your name right. My tongue keep getting twisted.
Oh,
Show Styles and Spirit.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. What were your thoughts on this episode?
Yes, the episode, it was good. It was just, it seemed like there was a disconnect though. It seemed like it was too cut up, as far as the editing. So I really didn't get what I thought I was gonna get, and I was left confused because I still don't know who Betty was talking about, and I mean talking to, when she told him to shut up, and I don't think it was Melody.
Yeah, me neither. Very good point, Hannah, because I was wondering about that too. The way they did cut that up and they still didn't answer that for us. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's a lot of editing that's going on, and but I do like that Keke stood up to Kimmie, because Kimmie again should not have stuck her nose in there, and it was so funny when Keke told her that it was Tiffany's dad. She's like, "Well, did you follow up?" She said, "It's her dad. It must be more important to her than it is to me." That was a stupid question. Did you follow up? She should have said, "Did y'all follow up?" And I like that Keke stood up to Kimmie, because Kimmie always be the one to tell, "No, no, 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 no." And she'll say it 4 or 5 times and cut people off. But usually because I think Keke is a better debater than Tiffany or some of the other ones, that she will, she cut her off at the right point to say, "Look, your question, I'm gonna let you know, she is the one that should have been following up, not me." So it
Right.
was, and what else happened? But anyway, it was, like I said, it just left me real kind of confused actually. And then with what was going on social media too, it's kind of, I still don't like that they have not brought Miss Vanessa on. I don't understand it, and I don't like it.
Me neither, Hannah. I think it's mean.
She needs to be on that show. And I know they showed her at the door last week, but you're sitting down. This is 2 or 3 times that Miss Betty has been on the show this season. And we have heard her loud and clear telling us why she don't like Melody and all of this other stuff. But we have not heard anything from Miss Van, which I think is not fair, because again, Melody said last week that it was her idea, it was her vision, and she and everybody else mother is coming on, and her mother. It's not right, but I think it's some kind of punishment a tactic. I think that either Carlos or production, someone is involved in this, because it's easy to put Miss Van on that show. They had the opportunity last week at the party, but they chose not to.
Exactly.
She should have been at the tea.
Yes.
I was thinking that too, but then I said, well, maybe she was babysitting the kids, so I kind of could understand that. But the perfect opportunity would have been at that birthday party. So, but and then she has her own story that can be told. I mean, I think it's a tactic where they got upset because Miss Wanda was not, people didn't want Miss Wanda on the show. So Carlos, he don't like to be told what to do, in my opinion. So he gonna if he don't get that some people say, well, if I don't get you one way, I'm gonna get you another one. So I think Melody thought it was all clear. And it was a done deal that Miss Wanda wasn't coming on the show because of her behavior. But then they punished her another way. In my opinion, I could be wrong though.
I totally agree with you, Hannah. I feel like when the viewers, they banded together and refused to put up with Miss Wanda trying to put her hands on Melody and talking about the baby's paternity, they said, okay, well, we're going to fix them. We won't show Miss Van either, just like Miss Wanda's not on there. But that's why take it out on her, because you're mad at the viewers for standing up for what they believe in. They're retaliating against Miss Van. That's not right.
Well, they're retaliating against the millimeters because, like Hannah's saying, if you notice after they did that hit list with the content creators and others, it's a divide and conquer strategy. But like I said, misogynists aren't going to stop. Narcissists or people who exhibit those traits aren't going to stop. You just have to learn how to combat and battle. But like, my thing is, I don't think you quit, because there's a reason why they're trying to force people off the show. There might be something where there's a gold mine in reaching us and reaching the consumers that they want. So
Yeah. They're totally starting this campaign. You're right. It started with Maurice and his blogger awards. And then, Miss Wanda got her YouTube channel, and Miss Betty was on there saying, oh, Melody called my kid ghetto. That's why I don't like her. And then those documents got leaked on the other channel in the other week. And Anonymous, you were on there to help clarify and bring truth. And they insinuated that Melody and Martell, were dealing with each other. That was very inappropriate. Don't even put anything out there like that.
And they got mad that we were like, when they said, okay, what dates? They couldn't say dates.
Yeah.
So, and then they subtly put in the peasant coleslaw being in there too with it. So it's like, they're trying to deflect and have you, when you question them, that's why they get scared.
And show style and spirit and Anonymous. I'm going to go back further than the awards. It happened when they realized that the millimeters and social media was effective when it comes to melody. So when Maurice figured that out, they needed somebody to step forward. Then they brought Funky Dineva on to call Melody all out of her name and everything. So when that got shot down, then I think it was Maurice. Let me see. But the plan was
Funky Dineva, you're right.
Maurice. You were saying it right.
I think that the plan was for them to use social media the way Melody was using it. Because what they were going to do was, okay, if the millimeters can be effective to get Miss Wanda off the show, then if we build up enough support, then we're going to be effective to get what we want. And that it was to take over the show and maybe get a spinoff or to get Melody off the show. That is what the plan was, but I think it failed miserably, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't want Melody to go. Just like when I was saying earlier, like how they're treating Miss Van, like typically like on your job, you would feel the stress, you feel where they're trying to be mean to you. So you might just move on and find another job. But when it comes to her having this vision for this show, like I hope Melody just continues to stand, and I don't want to put pressure and say, be strong, but because it was her show idea. She pitched it. So many people adore her who watch the show. I don't want her to leave because production is trying to be mean and put the pressure on. So I hope her and Miss Van stick it out.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is, this is why I had to, when I got on Show Styles, I told you the Madani and what Pookie did was worse than what's going on now. A lot of this is, I believe Melody has an opportunity with the OWN network to be the face of the network. But I also believe that Martell, as well as Carlos, knew that. That's why they sabotaged her with Behind Every Man. They were sabotaging with Napol. It's a little different. They didn't want her, the woman or the flour or the cream, to be elevated. I really do believe they thought these trashy sodomite type men were going to be elevated, but that's not what's happening. Cream rises to the top because usually people will find out who is the diamond in the rough, who is the jewel. And the jewel isn't Letitia. The jewel isn't Hotel. The jewel isn't Carlos. It's Melody, because she has persevered from the attacks and continues to do what she did before, but really has figured out who the issue was. And it was her ex-husband with what was happening. So it is a delicate balance. You, Hannah? It is a delicate balance, but I didn't know, Show Styles of Spirits, did you want to look at the part about the spiritual warfare?
Sure, absolutely.
I gave it to you in the private chat.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me go to it now.
Yeah, I gave it on a Patreon with the silver, but since this is Mother's Day and Sunday, and I think we need to figure out kind of how to help Melody as well as Vanessa and any other content creator who's getting attacked under a spiritual warfare, how to deal with it. Okay. If you want, I can read it. There are two primary errors when it comes to spiritual warfare: overemphasis and underemphasis. Some blame every sin, every conflict, and every problem on demons that need to be cast out. Others completely ignore the spiritual realm and the fact that the Bible tells us our battle is against spiritual powers. The key to successful spiritual warfare is finding the biblical balance. Jesus sometimes cast demons out of people, other times he healed people with no mention of the demonic. The Apostle Paul instructs Christians to wage war against the sin in themselves, Romans 6, and warns us to oppose the schemes of the devil. This is Ephesians 6:10 through 18. And you can scroll down. Okay. Ephesians 6:10 through 12 says, "Finally be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This text teaches some crucial truths. We can only stand strong in the Lord's power. It is God's armor that protects us. And our battle is ultimately against spiritual forces of evil in the world. Ephesians 6:13 through 18 is a description of the spiritual armor. Remember what Melody wore at the reunion? This is the example of it. Spiritual armor God gives us. We are to stand firm with the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, and by praying in the Spirit. So I just want to repeat that again because a lot of people don't get it. In terms of the spiritual armor of God, it says we are to stand firm with the belt of truth. In essence, how do you combat evil or a lie? You have to tell the truth. The breastplate of righteousness. The reason why Melody had to leave Martell is because he became too wicked. She had to leave him. He was too wicked. So she had to be righteous. The gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, technically. You have to be able to know it. And by praying in the Spirit. What do these pieces of spiritual armor represent in spiritual warfare? We are to know the truth, believe the truth, and speak the truth. We are to rest in the fact that we are declared righteous because of Christ's sacrifice for us. We are to proclaim the gospel no matter how much resistance we face. We are not to waver in our faith, trusting God promises no matter how strongly we are attacked. Our ultimate defense is the assurance we have our salvation, and assurance that no spiritual force can take that away. Our other offensive weapon is the word of God, okay? Not our own opinions and feelings. And we are to pray in the power and will of the Holy Spirit. So Jesus, at least if you're a Christian, again, this could be parable to other religions, but at least for the Christian faith, Jesus is our ultimate example of resisting temptation in spiritual warfare. Observe how Jesus handled direct attacks from Satan when he was tempted in the wilderness, Matthew 4:1 through 11. Each temptation was combated with the words, "It is written," which means he knew the word of God. That's how he was able to combat it. The word of the living God is the most powerful weapon against the temptations of the devil. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Psalms 119, 11, I think. A word of caution concerning spiritual warfare is in order. The name of Jesus is not a magic incantation that causes demons to flee from before us. The seven sons of Sceva are an example of what can happen when people presume an authority they have not been given. Acts 19, 13 through 16 are examples of that. Even Michael, the archangel, did not rebuke Satan in his own power, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." Jude 1:9. When we start talking to the devil, we run the risk of being led astray, as Eve was. Genesis 3:1 through 7. Our focus should be on God, not demons. We speak to God or Him, not the demons or them. In summary, what are the keys to success in spiritual warfare? We rely on God's power, not our own. We put on the whole armor of God. We draw on the power of the scriptures, which is the word of God, is the Spirit's sword. We pray in perseverance and holiness, making our appeal to God. We stand firm, Ephesians 6:13 through 14. We submit to God, and more importantly, we resist the devil's work, James 4:7. Knowing that the Lord of hosts is our protector. I know you remember when Melody said at the reunion that hotel wasn't her protector, it was the Lord who was her protector.
Yep, she said, God has been my source since I've left you.
And even since she was in the marriage with him, he protected her while she was there if he had these traits. Truly, he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Psalm 62:2.
That was beautiful, Anonymous. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, thank you, Anonymous. And I know we had spoken about spiritual warfare on another channel, and we had talked about, I can recognize those type behaviors. I mean, spiritual war, something that's getting ready to attack me when I see three things. That's three people that has band together for some reason. And it always, God always shows me that it's going to at least be three. Sometimes it'll be two, but they're going to try to find a third. Notice Martell. Martell had the chick, the coleslaw on the side. She's quiet. She was out of the way, but he had her. Then he had the Scots, and it was him. Okay, all of that got messed up when Melody divorced him. So notice he got quiet, but he's always going to be searching for that third person, because it says principalities, powers, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Those are three things. I know it seems like it's four, but it says principalities, powers against the rulers of darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. But then the whole armor has 6 pieces. So it's and the way I read it is double. 6 things is, you have 3 levels of spiritual wickedness, maybe 4, depending on how you look at it. But the whole armor consists of 6 pieces. So when you have that armor on, like Anonymous said, Melody, and then when you got Miss Van, you got your ancestors that prayed for you. Martell really didn't have a chance. Well, he did, but not against Melody. He picked the wrong target, if you ask me, to try to destroy, to try to fight in a spiritual battle. And I learned this as an early Christian: when you stage a war against God, you will fail every time. There's no use even trying it. So leave people alone. Pray, try to do the right thing, then you'll be just fine. But what he did to try to destroy this woman is unconscionable. And for that, I'm sorry, Martell, the way I look at it, I don't care what comes out of his mouth. He's gonna have to show her something different. He ain't got to show us anything, but I think Melody has finally realized that Martell it's really a spiritual warfare against her. And he was not her protector. He was not the provider. We already recognize that. He was nothing but someone to cause havoc in this woman's life. And she said she has 4 children with him. She do not even like the man, if you ask me. And I think she said that, and I think she actually meant it when she said it to you.
Oh, she means it, all right, Hannah. But I want to say you're right, Hannah, because think about it this way. Remember, he was trying to attack Vanessa and Melody at the skating rink? He brought 2 of his family members with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I'm going to tell you one other thing now. Now, remember, look at what happened to Destiny. He had to recruit her too, but she's gone. See, you're going to have people out on the sidelines waiting to be recruited. But you're going to, at least, you can have more, but when you can recognize it, it's going to be 3. It can't be just 1.
Well, I think it's 3, but I'll tell you this, Hannah, and this is what I was going to tell you that I think, and I was really giving Show Styles and Spirit what I think happened. I think Hotel, in my opinion, allegedly recruited Carlos and these snots to take down Melody as well as the Barrack. I've always believed that. And Destiny was one of the players too. But again, Melody, through the help of her village, it was us, her family, and content creators, and us speaking up, because I thought it was very interesting that people like Da Silva, people like Diana Rose, you Show Styles and Spirits, got the courage to use YouTube to start analyzing Love and Marriage Huntsville. I remember Mind of Lilith came up with it. And the reason why I think this show was so triggering for all of us is because it is a microcosm of society. A lot of us are dealing with this in our families, in relationships, you name it. And we were not only realizing that we might be dating or marrying or having family members that want to literally destroy us because we have a light in us. It's the darkness. And they usually hang around, they're flying monkeys, like they'll say things. But I have to thank Melody, because I kind of was hiding in the shadows a little bit when I heard it. But being able to analyze Love and Marriage Huntsville has actually helped me understand how to battle it on my own and how to create the boundaries. And if this is helping save a woman's life or even a man's life, because this is about control, this is about you having a light and darkness wanting to make you a slave or an object. That's really what's happening. We have to help, because a lot of people are really dealing with mental illness. And that's why it was scary seeing that interview. I don't know if you wanted to look at what Martell and Carlos did as that interview, a little bit of it, or did you? I mean, it's just up to you.
I can play the audio because I know Carlos will probably report on my channel if I play the video.
Yeah, it's just at least the if you ever see it or when you start analyzing it, it's very scary to hear Martell so obsessed with Melody. Mm-hmm. Like he's mad she left him.
Can I say this too, Anonymous?
Yeah, go ahead, Hannah.
Okay, now we were talking about, like I said, how I look at it, got to be 3. And you had said that you think that Martell recruited Carlos, or Carlos recruited somebody. But anyway, you said Carlos was in it. But remember, you have to, if you're being recruited, you have to accept, okay, I'm going to take a part of this. Carlos did not take a part of it at first. But now, when you start looking at it, and I think he was, you see, I don't think he did at first, because he really liked Melody at first. That's the key word. But then when Martell called for him, I think at this point things have changed. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm looking at it now. Because remember, Destiny is gone. He got to get somebody else. And now I think that Carlos is saying, okay, That's how come they've been going around. And notice on that interview, he started talking about your ex-wife. He barely wanted to call her name. That I haven't heard him do that before. So something is happening where I think that he has accepted the challenge. Now, remember, everyone that accepts the challenge is going to fall. They must know that.
I know. That's why I want Carlos to accept the challenge, because I want him to fall. He don't
Okay.
need to be doing any more bad stuff with other people. I mean, he has destroyed enough families.
But remember this, though. Sometimes they can cause a lot of havoc before they do.
Well, and that's why I think,
And
Hannah,
you don't
what you're saying is what's happening with the end of this show. He's causing the havoc because he knows his destruction's about to happen. Because it doesn't make any sense why you would still give money to Martell and every one of his businesses had floundered. Every one of them.
That's right. I'm saying you may cause the havoc on the person that you don't want them to. You see what I'm saying? That you may have innocent bystanders.
Yeah, but the people like that don't care. You get what I mean? They don't.
Exactly.
When they're so obsessed with trying to destroy you, everybody's collateral damage.
They just want to knock them off. I want to quickly acknowledge this super chat. Thank you so much, Bridget J. Bridget says, whoever God elevated in the Bible rose to the top. Look at Joseph, David, etc. through much persecution. Very true. People were trying to take David's life over and over.
But yeah, this spiritual warfare is exactly what we're looking at. So it's so important that we understand. But the people that keep on attacking this woman just don't get it. And like people are trying to tell them. But you see Maurice, Kimmie, Keisha, not Keisha so much, but Marceau, because they started seeing things happen in their life that they couldn't control. Sickness, financial destruction, all of these things, because you want to attack someone that has done nothing to you but try to help you. And it was her vision that actually got you on the platform that now you're trying to take and steal and then ruin her reputation, talk about her kids, and laugh at her situation when she became a single mom and had to go through all of this torture to try to go through custody battles and this and that. And you had no remorse. You only thought about yourself, Destiny included, all of these people. So people have been, like you said, the content creators have been putting a spotlight on it, but they haven't been listening because they think that it's not going to happen to them. They keep doing the wrong thing and then think that's something good is going to happen. It does not work like that. That is not the spiritual law.
And with y'all talking about spiritual warfare, it makes me think about controlling people and bullies. They operate as if there is no God, like there is no God watching over, seeing everything, and won't deal with them. Some people do operate like that, like God doesn't even exist. And then with the things that they've said about Melody, some people, they always like to make a woman look promiscuous or like a slut or WHORE, you know what I'm saying? Like Martell tried to insinuate that she cheated and allegedly called her, a HOE. And, other people, they just always want to write her off as that way. Destiny tried to say it at the last reunion. Like if I say Martell is a cheater, then I have to say that about you. People love to say that about a woman, to try and embarrass.
And I was going to tell you, the one thing I know they didn't talk about it, but we read it. The reason why the demons are attacking is not so much Melody. It's the God that is supporting her. That's who they want you to not believe in. So in my opinion, it's kind of like, I think you heard me, Hannah, I would say on Chit Chats live that I felt that basically Melody is being like Moses against Pharaoh. And Hotel, Carlos, and the rest of them are Pharaoh. Their heart is hardened. They know they need to stop. I mean, Kimmie, how many sicknesses you need to get? How many businesses do you need to lose? but their heart is hardened because so God has to, and probably God is allowing their heart to be hardened because he's going to work their wonders out on them. So, with the wonders, we saw with Melody, they thought she was going to be destroyed by the divorce. It didn't happen. They thought they were going to kick her off the show with Madani fight. Didn't happen. So this is like another phase where they're trying to do everything, but it's not happening. And that's why sometimes when you're fighting the spiritual warfare, I believe you have to have the endurance. That's why she said she's asking, when is it time for me to leave? It's when God tells her to leave, because there might be a blessing that if she leaves too quickly, she's missing out on it. And that's the part where I think a lot of us need to understand that we are dealing with misogyny. We are dealing with chauvinist people, especially in this entertainment industry. They don't worship God. They don't. And they want the God that we do worship to be destroyed. You get what I mean?
That is so true. And when the show Styles and Spirit showed this, I think you're getting ready to show some parts of the interview, and this will really demonstrate our point regarding spiritual warfare and Carlos and Martell.
Okay. Well, I had it queued up. I will go ahead and press play, and I'm going to pause it so y'all can give commentary. That helps with, so he kind of won't report this live if we're giving commentary on it. All right.
Man, the myth in the building. Yes, I'm talking about the Martell. Oh! What's up? Thank you for having me, Carlos. No, look, you don't do a lot of interviews, so I'm happy you decided to come on Reality with the King. I've had everyone on last season. Martell turned me down and said, no, he's not doing it. So I'm happy that this season you decided to chat with me. So what made you say yes this time? To be honest, you paid me last week, so I'm down for it. Let's go. Oh, you paid everybody, so you paid me, so y'all here. But no, I feel it's only right. I feel it's only right for me to jump on here with you. You're doing a great job with the show, and I'm a part of the show. And whatever you guys need, I think it's only right for me to jump on and put it out there, whatever it is. Reality TV, Reality with the King. Let's go. Well, let's go. So we have a lot to get to tonight. Obviously, we just saw the episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. We'll get into that. We'll also get into your groundbreaking appearance on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we have a lot of ground to cover tonight. But first and foremost, let's just talk about you. Obviously, I'm asking everybody on the cast as I do these interviews, how does it feel to know that you are part of the #1 show on Oprah Winfrey's network? And if you ever saw this coming? Well, I definitely didn't see it coming. And then two, it feels good to be a part of anything that you can say #1, because it is takes commitment, dedication, and being loyal to something, and I feel that we all given our lives to the show to make it great, to make it extremely relatable for others, for the couples, for the single people and those who've gone through divorce. And, I feel that we can relate on so many different areas. That's what's so attractive to our show. Unlike any others, we're not making up shit, a show, we're not doing that. So, it feels good to be part of a show that's #1. Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I have to agree with you. Listen, I think when it comes to Huntsville, the cast, you guys are super relatable. And I feel like the audience can find themselves in each personality, right? And one thing I always talk about is, and I tell you this all the time as well, like when I'm at the airport, people come up to me asking about y'all. I'll sit on a flight, Black women all across the world be like, how's Martell doing? Is he okay? And what's interesting is it the only thing they say? They don't say anything else? Anything interesting? That's it? Yeah, damn, Carlos. Like, come on, man. I want to hear the truth. Let's go. That was fun.
This to all of you guys at nausea. So I'll just say to give the audience already knows, but a lot of them have always said, you know, we want to see Martell and Melody back together. That's been a lot of the.
Okay, y'all got some commentary on the first few minutes. Him saying that black women come up to him saying that him and Mel need to get back together.
What you think, Hannah, first, or you want me to talk?
The only thing I can say about that is I really think that he's lying, but I could be wrong about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, maybe a couple of them may say it, but ain't nobody saying that, you know, of all the things to say, come on now. But we think Carlos is known to have been, you know, embellishing or not telling the truth about some things. So we'll leave it there. You go ahead on, Anonymous.
Well, I was going to make 2 points. You notice how Hotel wanted to be on a #1 show?
Yes.
He always wants to be, you can tell it deals with his delusions of grandeur. He thinks he's #1, right? And then the fact that I find it very odd that Carlos would start his interview saying that both him and Melody need to get back together. And you're the one that had Cougar Peach Cobbler and Hotel be together.
Right.
Explain this to me. So, you know, and this is the thing that's scary is I think he triggered, in my opinion, when you hear the rest, he triggered Hotel to then go into his tangent when you start hearing later.
But, you know, what I did think also about that conversation is this. Carlos is lying, but he has a motive. And the motive is if Martell is associated with Melody and people start liking him, they're going to buy something from him. And at the end of the interview, we learn about this suit collaboration with Miguel, whatever his name is. So he's trying to set it up. Okay, we got to do something to get you and Melody back on the right track as far as, you know, he has to be associated with her in a positive light. And to me, this is what Carlos is doing. He think he's slick, but he not.
Yeah, but unfortunately, with the dumb jock Hotel, this is where you know he has mental illness coming on after this. That's the part. You know, he's just not well right now when you hear it.
Well, let's get to it.
Comments that I'll get from black women who I could be in the gym. This happened to me last week in the gym. It happens to me when I'm on a flight. You know, when a black woman sits next to me, she'll look at me, she'll look around, and she'll do this. She'll do this. Now look, I know who you are. I'm not gonna blow your spot up, but I love you. I love what you're doing. And can you get Martell and Melody back together? I'd be like, girl, I am not Jesus. Like, I don't have the power to do that. I said, I have learned through my conversations with Martell and Melody that it's inappropriate to say that. That is more about making sure they're happy as individuals, and whatever their happiness means to them, that's what we should aspire for. And she said, okay, but I still want you to, and I'm like, okay, fine. But knowing that, is that something you get as well when you run into fans of the show?
Of course. Because I think that was some of the show's better moments when we were together, you know. But yeah, you know, everybody has their own opinion on how things should go and where we should be in life. But you know, we're just gonna live our lives and see what happens as the future unfolds. That sounds good, don't it?
Is that your final statement on that topic?
Yeah. Are you talking to Millie about that? Yeah, no. I think we're both good right now. You know, we're really working hard to get along for the kids right now. You know, I think we got a lot more stepping stones to go before we even blink at each other. You know, so I don't know.
Well, look, I think I'm honest by saying this. I think at the end of the day, we're all just praying for this situation because, again, there are kids involved, and at the most, we want to make sure that everybody is happy in terms of whatever that means for them. And one thing I know producing this show is the world's opinion or their thought of what happiness looks like oftentimes does not mean that the person they're wishing the happiness for agree on what that may mean for themselves, right? So when it comes to you and your relationship with your ex-wife, and we saw tonight's episode, we saw this season, there's been a lot of dialogue about court battles and custody. And again, we have a reunion to tape. And unlike a lot of people, I save my questions and answers for the reunion because the show that pays me too. So we won't get to a lot of stuff because we got to talk about a lot at the reunion. But when it comes to you and your ex-wife, how are you two doing right now?
Collectively, I think we're doing good. We're doing much better after court, you know? We would have been doing amazing if both of us, now let me be real, we would have been doing great if she was following what the judge put out a long time ago. You know, her being held in contempt of court on so many different levels is what caused me to be upset and angry, you know, because I don't want to take her to court.
Okay, Anonymous and Hannah, what is he talking about?
That's lie number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that came through. Let's talk about the contempt of court. Hotel, that's your name, in my opinion, allegedly. You were in contempt of court. Mm-hmm. Melody wasn't in contempt of court. So this is, again, a deflection. You were the one that didn't showed up at the birthday party, and it wasn't your week. You were the one that allegedly filed a motion to have Mariah be away from her own birthday party, and it got denied. So you were going to make a scene. You're the one that had the 56 days or more where the court ruled that you could not be around the kids because of the incident with Tank or Martell Jr. that happened. Allegedly, you and the peasant were in the same place having a fight, and Tank was the one that was trying to save the peasant from you attacking her. So this is the thing where now it's kind of making sense why the other content creators that don't watch Love and Marriage Huntsville were leaking documents. He was trying to change, in my opinion, allegedly, the perception of the public that Melody was at fault when he's the one that lost, allegedly by not getting a chance to get his motion to modify the custody arrangement.
Yeah. So, and it's all because he's just sitting here leaving out the truth. He's just only telling a small amount of the truth. When him and Melody first separated, he left. Melody left, but he didn't have any resources after she left. So she had to take on the majority of everything as far as the financial responsibility for her 4 children. And he was over there busy with doing something else. But then when he realized Melody was filing for divorce and it was serious, then he wants to get involved. But then now he's saying because I guess Melody decided at some point she would have to take on responsibility for her children, and she would have to protect her children no matter what Martell did. But then Martell was using that against her. So especially when it came to, her not wanting to depend on him to keep them kids when he probably had disappointed her so many times before. So she had to just say, look, I got to take on the majority. And she just went ahead and did what she always do, figured it out. But he's trying to use that against her, but he's going to use it like this. Okay, I'm trying to get along with Melody. She's not. But everything, then he said he's trying to make it look like everything is okay. But his plan is to get the public to think that him and Melody are having a good relationship other than what she's not doing. That way, when he bring out his underwear line and his suit line, then and we're going to hear it later on That's all he's worried about right now is making money. That's the first statement he said when he opened his mouth. He said, "You paid me." Why did he? Carlos asked, "Why did you agree to this interview?" You paid me. It's all about money for him. That's what I'm getting. But he got to make Melody look bad to make himself look good. So now,
Right.
Well, that's what he thinks in his deluded brain. But again, the millimeters, I guess pygmies must not have any money to pay for him because they're financially living with their mama or on a basement because the millimeters have money and we're like, we're not supporting you. We don't care. Yeah.
you're right, but he doesn't get it yet. But we
I don't think
know
he'll
that
ever
he
get
does.
it, Hannah. I think it's going to take him being in prison for him to get it because he'll still blame them. I mean, he just doesn't get it.
But it's very evil to say that the mother of your children has been in contempt of court so many times. And I'm like, haven't y'all been doing what the judge wanted, which was the joint custody, 1 week on, 1 week off? What is he talking about?
Well, he's just trying to project. Like I said, if you notice, he always likes to talk that he's doing something, but he's the one that doesn't. Remember, he during his live at Popeye's parking lot, he said we don't need to accept what the judge says or the court says. So what is it, Hotel? You either accept what the judge says or you don't accept what the judge says. I'm confused.
I think what he was talking about there is that he was saying that Melody, the judge had ordered, or maybe the social service person, whoever did it, had said, "Listen, it is recommended that they contact each other if there's something wrong. Give each other the numbers." And Melody kept changing her numbers. That's why he's saying that she was in contempt for changing her number, for not calling him to be the first person to say if she had to go out of town. That that's what I think he's talking about, in my opinion.
Virgo energy, is that you?
Yes, hey,
Hey, Anonymous.
What's up, baby?
Hello.
Hi, Anonymous. I saw you and I came up. It was because I saw you I came up.
I'm so glad. We miss your expertise, honey. Whew.
Oh, I miss you too, but I listen to you all the time.
Yeah, because you came with the best phrase. The children of the ground, even though you put them on the bed, they'll go back to the ground.
They'll roll, they'll find their way to the ground. It's their home. Hi, Show Styles, it's Red. Hi, Ebony. Hello, Hannah Grace.
hello. Thank you for being here. We were breaking down Carlos's interview with Martell.
Yeah, I'm not listening to that. I'm sorry.
It's ridiculous.
Hi, Pacino. Yeah, no, I'm not listening to that. I won't do that to myself. I won't. No, that's a fate worse than death. No, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. No,
You got that right.
I can't do Carlos's cackling like a deranged hen, and I can't listen to Martel continue to spew lies. I can't do it. I'm sorry. No. Mm-mm.
But that
That's too much
seems
for me.
so unfair if a judge can hold you in contempt because you won't reveal your new number, but you have to block the number or change it because you're being harassed and stalked. Like, how come the dots can't be connected?
Well, all she has
I
to
don't
do
think.
is give a burner
Yeah,
phone. That's all.
exactly. I don't think. The one thing we all know for a fact that is irrefutable and unquestionable is that every time Martel opens his mouth, he lies, and nothing that he says can be believed. I don't think a judge will force Melody to give him her number. I think the worst that will happen is to make sure that he can contact her when needed or something that has to do with the kids. And so he lies. I Nothing he says makes sense. And the reason why I actually joined this was because I have a message for women. I'm sick and tired of women of all races, and more especially for some reason, Black women. We have decided to become the key holders and the gatekeepers to the patriarchy. We have decided that we don't want better for ourselves. We excuse these poor excuses for children masquerading as men. And for some reason, we always find a reason to excuse their behavior and put down the woman because the woman isn't doing enough to make this so called, in air quotes, black man feel like a black man. Real men don't need to be helped to feel like men. They already know they're men, they act like men, and they are treated as such. It is children in their birthday suits who are wearing suits that are too tight for them, who don't know their actual size of clothes, who continuously want to be babied and excused for their poor behavior that need such validation. Real men don't need it because they show up as they should, they act right, they treat others with respect, and they get respect in return. So for some reason, these women consistently, I was reading comments on a few different pages, and no matter what happened, even though Melody revealed last night that she gave Martell the option to come and pick up Mariah, they still found a way to blame Mel. So
Yep.
that leads me to believe that it's really not about whether she's right or wrong. The basic thing is, hi D Brown. The thing is just that she's a woman. She's not allowing herself to be trampled upon, and by virtue of that, she's bucking the system, and that is unacceptable because in their lives they have allowed themselves to continue to be doormats for the toxic men in their lives just so they can say, "I got a man." So everybody else has to bow down and do the same thing, and when you don't, you are the problem. For you, so this is my message to you women. I'm not going to judge you. Sorry, that's your business. But the same way I'm not judging you, how about you stop judging other women for their choices? You want to be a doormat, whatever works in your life for you, those are your choices. But you don't get to judge other people for not accepting the same bad behavior that you seem to think is part of the course, just to say, "I got a man." Okay, you got a man. So you have your man, hold on to your man, be a doormat. That's on you. But stop trying to destroy other women who refuse to be doormats. It's enough. This is 2023. Enough.
Exactly. Exactly. It's that patriarch system. It's that making you only be a doormat. And it's just the women like Melody, us on this panel, and other women content creators are just saying enough is enough. We're not going back. We don't believe that only a marriage needs to be where the man is superior and the woman is inferior or submissive only. Like we were saying, there's a different perspective on it, collaborative partnership. And we're not inferior to you. Some of us are, as Melody was showing, she was superior to Hotel in intellect. She was the one that was making the money. And people just got mad that she was making the money. I'm sorry. It's sad though, but I think Virgo's right. We have to stand for women and men to understand it's a new day. The old way is not going to continue, and we're not going to sit here and let you waller in it. If you want to stay there, that's fine, but we're going to have a different view moving forward and going to advocate for those people to make a change.
It's crazy. It's disappointing and it's silly. Everything she does, they have a problem with. I have my issues with Mel because I'm not gonna lie, I'm sick and tired of Mel being the bigger person.
You wanted to whoop him? Whoop that trick.
Not that one is so not worth it. He's a waste of a suit. He's just a waste of a human being. He's a waste of air. I was going to talk about Miss Betty. I just got here. I don't know whether you've spoken about her already. But the fact that Mel didn't put Miss Betty out disappointed me. I just told her to get up and get out. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not apologizing to you. You will leave. You don't come to my events and tell me to shut up unless it was edited that way. But what we saw, I would have asked her to leave. And I'm sick and tired of Mel continuing to be the bigger person. It's becoming ridiculous at this point.
I think they are editing because remember the bougie scene where they called her bougie? She did tell him to get out. She said, she did. But it might be some editing, Virgo.
Yeah, but the editing this season is disrespectful.
It is.
Hannah
The
said
editing
that
this season.
earlier. It still isn't clear in what context did Betty say you shut up. Like I almost thought for a second, was Miss Betty saying she wished Melody told the viewers to shut up? Like, let me get you together. It wasn't Stormy. Like I thought of
I
that for a
didn't.
second. But
It
rejection
might
doesn't
have been. And see, that's the thing where they're trying. That's a great point, show style and spirit.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective. I didn't think of it that way. That's a really good perspective, and it's possible that that's what she said, because Mel didn't look angry, and nobody else on the table looked like, oh my God, what did you just say? You
Yep.
understand? Nobody said anything, and even the etiquette lady didn't say you shouldn't tell, because she told Keke that Keke went too far, which I disagree with, but she didn't say anything to. Yeah, you're right. I really agree with you.
But I
I
don't
agree
know
with you.
why production. See, they're thinking we're stupid and we're not analytical, but we all just talk that through. Because Hannah did say earlier, like it still wasn't clear to me if she was talking to her, because you weren't fully convinced that she was saying it to Melody. And when I was watching the episode, the only thing I could think of was she saying Melody should have told the viewers to shut up? It wasn't Stormy. Like that was the only thing I could come up with because they didn't make it clear. But that lady, she just doesn't want to like Melody. She just doesn't want to like her because she's coming with different reasons why she don't.
And as we were talking about spiritual warfare, we see that is the reason she's a part of it. And then they recruited Stormy too, and we see exactly what happened to Stormy. But a Virgo energy, I just wanted to say, and I know we got to move on. I don't see how. Maybe I'm interpreting what you're saying wrong, but you're saying that you're sick and tired of Melody being the bigger person. If she's not the bigger person, that means she would be the smaller person. So why would you be sick of her being the bigger person?
Oh, when I say the bigger person, what I'm saying is I understand her not wanting to give her energy to a lot of things, but at some point in time, you just can't all the time be passive so that things will move on or throw or be like, or do the polite shade. Do you understand what I mean? As in, because if somebody told me to shut up, yes, I would respect you because you're my friend's mother, or well, I use the word my classmate's mother, but you will leave my event. You don't speak to me like that. So that's what I meant, as in,
Okay, gotcha. You saying she just stopped putting up with
yeah,
stuff. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay,
yeah,
not that she
yeah,
needs
because
to
I
get
think
to
that
the level. Okay,
no, because I think the reason why Wanda got so brazen was because Melody always walked away, or she didn't really give her. Do you understand? She never really put her in her place. So that's what I was saying. But then when Ebony now said what she said, I'm thinking that's what happened. That it was just the editing that made it look like she told Melody to shut up.
And that might be true because I don't think production wanted us to know that they're attacking the content creators and millimeters.
Because that would be horrible to attack us viewers who are supporting the show.
Yeah.
But Miss Betty would think like that. Miss Betty would totally go off on the viewers who are keeping the show going.
no, she wouldn't do it, but she wanted Melody to come to her daughter's defense and say, "Look, my daughter didn't do it." She wanted Melody to get on social media and say, "No, it's not true. That Storm." No, she don't. She can't do that with people coming at her all day, every day. She's not going to do that. So I can understand Melody's position, but I can see what Miss Betty is saying too. But if I was Melody, I would not have done it. It was Stormy's position to go up there and say it, not Melody's. Because especially with Stormy had been doing all of the underhanded stuff that she had been doing to Melody, if I was Melody, there's no way I would have got on there and said that. I would have left it just the way it was.
And if Miss Betty would have just thought about Melody's tweet, she was saying, who recorded this convo? Why would she just rule your daughter out if she don't know who recorded her? I mean, let's keep it a buck. If she doesn't know, then she's not just going to advocate and say, well, I know Stormy wouldn't do me like that. She doesn't know.
Absolutely. Especially, no, because Stormy had started moving backwards or sideways. However, she started moving real funny when it came to Melody. So Melody had no reason to come up there and try to defend her for anything.
Right. I have a different perspective on that, but I do want to respond to somebody first. Logical speaks. I don't know what the consensus of the panel is, but my viewpoint on this particular issue of the court documents and findings has always been, I've never listened to them, I've never seen them, I've heard about them, but my view is they're fake. I've always said it in my private conversations with people, and I strongly believe they're fake. I think excerpts of the court documents were brought out to give it some kind of legitimacy. Certain things were put in, and a lot of it was trash. And I strongly believe it was released by Martell because Melody was celebrating and people were celebrating with her that the verdict kept things the way they were, which means he didn't win anything. So I think, and he knew that the episodes with Mariah's birthday and the fact that he didn't go and pick up his own daughter were going to come out. So I think it was a preemptive strike. And it was also a reactionary thing as well. So my consensus, my belief has always been and always will be that the court documents are fake. I think excerpts, maybe a few lines here and there, and stuff were put in that had the right wordings, that had the right names and stuff, just to give it some kind of legitimacy. But I don't think they're real. And so that's my response to that person. And then my opposing view on the Stormy situation. So logical speaks, that's my belief. My belief on the Stormy situation is I don't like Mama Clump, but I can see where she's coming from. And this is it. Mel knew that recording was done. It wasn't a secret recording. It was something she said during the interview she did for the Shade Room. It's online. You can see it there. Those exact words, everything. You understand what I mean? As in, so it's really simple. By putting the hashtag secret recordings, she created the whole thing that people thought it was Stormy. So I think that hashtag made things awkward. But on the flip side, Stormy wasn't even in the scene. So why do you care so much? And why does anybody need to defend you? If you didn't record it, why do you care? And why are you so hyper-focused on this recording? She has told you repeatedly, and then she told you when you first met her at Kimmie's party that she didn't think it was you, that she knew it wasn't you. So you still went home, you spoke to your mom. You didn't tell your mom that part because your mom still came back weeks later, 2 episodes later, and your mom came and said that's still her issue, which makes that your mom's third issue with Melody. The first issue was that Melody called you ghetto, which doesn't make sense because Melody recommended you for the show, which Carlos said. Melody didn't say that. Carlos opened his big yap and said it on the interview. And she was like, she's never mentioned that. And he shouted exclusive. That was your first reason that we know. And then the second reason was, which the one you said also on the, on the interview, when she said it was because she agreed with her that Chase was spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your second reason. So now the third reason is because of the recordings. Now, the first one is stupid because number one, when they were doing the, when they were getting the cast for the show together, according to your daughter, she didn't know Mel. So there was no way she could have been recommended as a part of a couple or as the original cast. So she didn't know Mel. She didn't know Mel till like a year or two ago. So how would she have been able to say your daughter was ghetto? They had a group of friends. They kept bringing their friends, their actual friends. And Carlos kept saying, no, 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 no. The Scots weren't even in the first round pick. Because according to Mel, there was a Caucasian couple or two Caucasian couples that they came with. So the Scots weren't even there. But when he saw the Scots, he said he liked the Scots, he liked the chemistry. So there was no talk of Stormy. Nobody knew Stormy. This is season 6. And the first time we heard Stormy was early season 5 or late season 4. So, and according to you, Stormy, you didn't know Mel until like a few months before that, because according to you, once again, because Stormy keeps going around talking like she got Mel to do, she borrowed Mel her house for her video. Also not true. According to you, Stormy, what you said was you wanted Mel to be an ambassador and to do product placement on the show and bring you on the show. So the best product placement was to use your home and talk about your products and what you do, which is what the business arrangement was. So stop acting like you borrowed your friend your house for a video because you were friends. No, it was a business arrangement. You weren't friends. And then you got, later down the line, you started getting to know each other in your words. So you're not friends. So your mother, then, so that takes me back to your mother, who has been dragging Mel since 2017. So which of those 3 things happened in 2017 that created a situation where your Melody so much since 2017, 2018, 2019? Because none of these 3 things you spoke of happened in 2019, 2018. The first one happened in 2020 or 2021 when you contacted her. So why was your mom on Facebook dragging her for filth? And then, you knowing how your mom feels about Melody, why did you bring your mom to the tea party? And then, according to you, you're your own person, you don't agree with your mom. But when Nell was trying to say something, you politely, disrespectfully shut her down and told her to keep quiet so that your mom could speak. And you said it in your confession that your mom feels a way about Melody. If you know that your mom feels a way about Melody, why bring your mom to the tea party? But according to you, you're your own person and you fight your own battles. Go back.
Yeah, and this is why we say that Melody shouldn't. I don't think that Melody should have gotten online and said anything. Miss Betty, who she thinks she is, she didn't talk bad about this woman, but now you're supposed to go and defend your daughter. No, and defend Melody's supposed to go and defend her daughter. Now, why waste your time? This woman don't have time for that foolishness.
Yeah, but I thought her issue was Melody was looking at Destiny recording her and giving it to Martell to do that. That was the thing.
Yeah, Miss Betty just wanted a reason not to like Mel. And as far as like, okay, so right, with the music video and the product placement, it was like they were bartering, like, I'll do this for you and you do this for me. But I hate when someone does, extend some kindness towards you. They act like they've given you the world, or they died on the cross for you. Like Pacino Ruse says, as if Mel couldn't find another venue to film her music video or find another pool for her kids to swim in. Like Miss Betty, even if your daughter let the Telltale Signs video be shot at your home, that doesn't mean like she owes her anything. If she chose to do that, she was being kind, or if it was in exchange for the product placement on the show. I mean, calm down. I think she just don't like the girl.
Which is fine. I don't like you. I don't like you. That's okay. I don't like Dusty. I don't need a reason. I just don't like her. I don't like Tisha. I'm beginning to see her. I'm trying to tolerate her this season, but I don't like Tisha. And I could give you all the reasons in the world, but they would all boil down to, I just don't like her. I don't owe anybody an explanation as to why I don't like her. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I don't owe you an explanation. There doesn't always have to be a why. There's no need for a why. People get caught up trying to explain why. Just resist the urge to explain. I don't like you, move on.
And Miss Betty, just what you just said, Virgo energy, Miss Betty has been caught up trying to explain why, because she's given 3 different explanations, and she should just say, I don't like her, and that's that. That's more respectable than you just making up stuff. But I want to acknowledge L'Oreal. She's been so patient. Thank you for being here, L'Oreal. How you doing today? Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I'm doing all right.
Happy
Hey,
Mother's Day,
Virgo
everybody.
Energy.
Hey,
I'm so glad to
L'Oreal.
Hi,
see you.
L'Oreal. How are you?
Good. I said Virgo Energy. That's my girl. She on here. Hey, Anonymous. Hey, Hannah Grace. I have missed
Anonymous brought
hearing
me
your
here.
voice.
Anonymous brought me here. I
Oh,
miss
good,
Anonymous.
good, good. I missed you. I said, where's she at?
I just couldn't do the show anymore. It was too much for me. I was getting triggered. I was getting angry, and I just couldn't do
Yeah,
it anymore.
yeah. I do believe that they edited Betty. They had me ready and fired up for Betty, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. They amped up the commercial for it, I believe. And I do think they edited because no one looked mad. It was one girl at the table who had made a face, but who knows if that face was, she was the only one at the table I didn't know. But who knows if her face was to that or was it a response to something else that was being said. But I did think that Betty was very shady to Nell. She didn't have to be that rude to Nell. When Nell just
Stormy.
Stormy's mom. When
I
she
think
told
Stormy
her
was ruder.
and Stormy was ruder. And I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you, I don't like Stormy. Now and it is what it is. She code switches way too much for me. Even when she was at the spa, the prior episode, and she was saying, I felt like it was enough. And all of that, it was like, okay, yeah, you switched on your ghetto. And then she switched on her ghetto to but your mom is so upset that people are calling you ghetto, but that's what you show. You know what I mean? You show that.
Hmm.
When she was talking to Black Titanic, that was horrible and that was very ghetto and uncalled for. Miss I cuss. So I mean, and I feel like her mama is the same way. So you just don't. For 20 seconds on. I just feel like they really don't have no class. And she code switches to try to pretend that she does, but her true self always shows. So I really don't like Stormy. I don't think she's to be trusted at all. I will say that I'm still on the fence with Keke, but I was glad that Keke got Tiffany together
Me too.
because
I'm
Tiffany
not on
has
the fan, yeah.
skated so many seasons with the stuff that she said. She has skated by. I mean, Destiny's about the only one that really checked Tiffany to the capacity that she needed to be checked. But Tiffany just says outlandish things, and then she goes to the next person and says something. So apparently, the next episode, she's gonna get called out again, and then she leaves and goes and still, you know, just cuts it right back on as if she does hadn't learned anything from the last situation and gonna get into it with Sheree.
The,
So she just needs to relax. She herself needs to remember she's pregnant. I don't think it's everybody's responsibility to tiptoe around you with the shenanigans. You're acting like that and you're pregnant.
Right.
You need to be the first to remember.
You
Okay?
are
I'm
totally,
sorry.
L'Oreal. You are right on it, girl. 100%. Story, she don't like it when she's called ghetto, but that is exactly what she presents. And anytime, now don't get me wrong, I curse. I've dropped F bombs even right here on YouTube, but I ain't never did that. I don't remember ever doing that in front of my mom. And if I did it at like a tea party, my mama would have hit me. Miss Betty just sat there like it didn't phase her at all.
It doesn't.
That
It
said a
doesn't.
lot.
That's how they speak. No, but
That's how they
according to
are.
Stormy, that's how they are. But the thing for me is Tiffany, like I told you before, Ebony, my thing about Tiffany is this. Tiffany didn't miss the memo. The thing is, Tiffany missed the memo. And I think what happened, like I told you before, last time I was here, Ebony, is that
See it again, yeah. About the core six.
yeah, I think what happened was Tiffany and Stormy did not realize that Destiny wasn't coming back. And they did not get the memo that the core six were going to try harder and do better. So they came, and the core six, according to Stormy, they hadn't spoken since the last time the reunion because she's holding on Melody. But according to her, none of them had spoken. She hadn't been with the people in that room since the reunion. So none of them had spoken to her in particular. So she did not realize that it was a new day they were not doing let's all go after Mel anymore. So she came in assuming that the plan was still the same. So it was like Stormy would gang up with Destiny and go after Mel, and Tiffany would go after Keke. The thing about Stormy's thing is set in motion, which I'm assuming we'll see more of it over the season. But Tiffany is just on one, and she's gone after Keke, and unfortunately for her, Keke isn't taking it lying down because she thought she was going to be able to rile Tisha up to go after Tiffany with her. But Tisha and Keke, to go after Keke with her. But Tisha and Keke have made up. So now she's an island all on her own. There's nothing else to do but to continue the foolishness. And even when she wanted to retreat and say, wrong road, Keke is already irritated. So Keke is not letting it go either. So the beefs aren't really real. Exactly, Pacino. The beefs aren't real. Unfortunately for Tiffany and what's her face, Stormy, they didn't get the memo that, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We moved on from that. The only person really going after Mel now is Martell. Yeah, the rest of us have moved on. That's their business. So they didn't get the memo, so they're just continuing in the same vein. And I don't think Stormy or Tiffany realized that Destiny wasn't coming back until the season had started filming. So, and Stormy had already started the Mel is a bad friend nonsense from the first episode and had started throwing shade online before that. So there's no going back. She's already started assuming that they were still trying to get Mel off the show.
Yeah.
But she didn't realize that, no, that's not what's happening anymore. Keke, I still don't see it for her. But I do like the way she got Tiffany together. My only issue with that is I don't respect the fact that she said, oh, I wasn't trying to take a dig. You were trying to take a dig. It was a dig. Stand by it. Stand by it. Don't, you said what you said. And in my opinion, she had every right to say what she said. If you don't want none, don't start none. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I'm glad Keke is getting Tiffany together too. I think some people in the cast, they think they can gang up on Keke too. They kind of like to do a gang up, but to me, she handles herself pretty good.
It's not Keke that's handling herself good. It's because Tisha isn't co-signing the gang up. They
And
thought
also,
Tisha would co-sign it, but Tisha isn't co-signing it. So now they're looking stupid.
what I was going to say is it also, when Keke did that, she put Stormy, she put Kimmie and Tisha them on notice that if you come from me, I'm going to put you in your place, because they had been lying on her as well with the editing and everything. And she wasn't saying, she was trying to hold back, but she letting them know, no, I'm going to come for you. Don't try me.
That's right. That's right. But it did aggravate me that Tisha sat there and didn't say a word. And I said, you know what? She playing back and forth, back and forth. She sat up there and she listened to everything Tiffany had to say, and she ran it right back to her cousin. So what was Tiffany thinking on this next episode, going thinking she gonna talk about Tisha to somebody?
I know.
And they gonna run it right back. Like, girl, just go sit down somewhere. They are loyal to each other. They should have showed you right there, okay, they are loyal to each other. Let me be quiet. Your argument is that blood should be thicker than water. You just found out, didn't you?
Yeah, there you go, L'Oreal. It's like Tiffany like people going off on her. And I guess, you know what? Keke did it right by taking it back to Tish, because Tiffany may have been trying to test Keke. Like, I'm going to send her this text and I'm going to see if she lets her cousin know. And she did. So now you about to get told off. And when you brought up Tisha being quiet, we talked about this earlier. And Anonymous brought up, about how that young lady that was sitting to the right of Keke is allegedly Tisha's hairstylist, who's also a friend of Coleslaw. So that's why she was like, real laid back at the tea party. But I think also because her mom isn't on the show, her mouthpiece is making her pull back as well, in my opinion.
I must say, I can't stand Wanda. But when Keke was going off, I said, would a real Wanda please stand up? She was acting like Wanda a little bit, way more than Tisha. I said, okay, especially with that. I know who my daddy is. I said, oh, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah, but Tiffany sent for her and she responded.
Yeah, she did. And she did. And she did. But I'm still side on her because I'm like, look, man.
You and me both.
But I was happy that she got her together. Somebody needs to. She's just too frivolous. And my mama said, well, she's calm. And I said, Mama, look, you ain't been watching this show. That girl keep up with everybody and everything. She needs to get her some business. She's in everybody's business. We don't know much about Tiffany. What does Tiffany really show about her life?
Well,
So
that has
y'all,
always been.
go ahead, Virgo.
I was about to say that has been the running thing. Nobody shows their lives and they just attack Mel.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this season there is no attack Mel. So that's why Maurice had to use his own son as his storyline, which
Mm-hmm.
is pathetic to me.
Isn't he working?
I doubt it.
I mean, it's just, jeez.
How did y'all feel about Kimmie intervening? That's the biggest part that bothered me the most.
She
Kimmie's
looks
full of that.
stupid.
Kimmie's
It
full of
bothered
that.
me. It bothered me. It gave me the same thing that she did to Destiny at the reunion. But maybe this isn't a place for you. I said,
I think
oh,
Kimmie still feels a way that Keke called her out
Mm-hmm.
because because Keke made it very clear that the story, because a lot of people got it wrong, in my opinion, because I listened to quite a few content creators, because they were saying that Keke was saying that what's it called, that Kimmie was deflecting. What Keke was saying, to my understanding, was you were deflecting away from the fact that the talk was about your husband and not Marceau, which is why you took it to keep Tisha to put it back on Marceau and remove your husband from the situation. That's the
mm,
deflection Keke was talking about. That what Stormy said was that your husband keeps getting away with it and he's been proven to be a liar as well. So because you didn't want anybody talking about your husband and you didn't want the continuation of the storyline about your husband also being in Atlanta, you deliberately made it about Tisha versus Mel. So that overshadowed the question that Stormy actually answered. So for Keke to bring that back up, that bothered Keke. That bothered Kimmie. And the thing about Kimmie is Kimmie acts like she's so above it all. But the thing is, Kimmie is also low key vindictive, and she said she is. That once, in the words of Cardi B, once we have beef forever.
But L'Oreal, were you speaking of what happened at the on the event yesterday? I mean, on the episode yesterday when Kimmie jumped in about uh, asking Keke if she had followed up
Yeah,
with but okay, that was not Kimmie. I don't think Kimmie should have asked Keke that question because Keke told her it is her family. It wasn't my family. She should have followed up with me.
exactly.
But the thing that
It's
yeah,
her
bothered
but
me
daddy. Why
also
should
with
why should
Kimmie,
she? Yeah, that's right.
right?
but
And
Kimmie
then
has a
listen.
problem with Keke.
Let me just say one other thing also. Notice how Kimmie looked her square in her face boldly and asked her that silly question. But when her and Maurice was talking, she could not look this man in the face and confront him. She looked down the whole time and would not look at him. And even though she had valid points,
Yeah.
she is afraid to confront this man. That's why he won't take her seriously.
Yes, Hannah, you are so right. Kimmie shrinks for Maurice, I guess to make him feel more comfortable. But you're absolutely right. She shrinks and she struggled to get him to see when your kid won't clean up his room, which is not a huge task, and I've asked him to and he's being disobedient, I need you to step in and get him to clean his room. He's the kid, we're the adults.
Yeah, but Kimmie doesn't have a problem with Maurice. Her issue is with Keke for calling her out. So that was a continuation of, okay, I don't like you, and I'm going to insert myself in this situation to make you look bad because I don't like you. Because you
Well,
tried
I think
to put the focus back on my issue.
Virgo
So that
energy,
was
you are absolutely right. And that's how I feel about Kimmie. Kimmie does not forget anything. And
mhm,
she's fake in that manner. Just like I always made a point to say, the person who always brings something out be Kimmie. She start the fights and then she hides her hands. It be Kimmie to me. Kimmie was the first one bringing out. Then Martell had coleslaw, remember? In the car situation. It was really Kimmie bringing that up. It was Kimmie bringing up oh, Martell's dating Sheree. She's continuing to do it, but she's her friend. She does not. I feel like if Kimmie don't like you, the moment she don't like you, she don't never like you again. She fake. I just feel that way. The moment that Keke called her out and brought that to her attention, like, why would you take that
mhm.
back to my cousin? You were in the conversation. Nothing was horribly said. Why did you take that back? Kimmie ain't gonna like her. Period. She's gonna always find a way to
but
backstab Keke.
that's true, but that's only with women though. Because notice yesterday during that
Yeah.
conversation with Marie and Kimmie said that Kyra agreed with her and not with Maurice. That was true. But she would not look him in the face. Now, when Martell crossed her, she still think he's a good guy, unless it's
Right.
dealing with the line. Then he's causing drama. But then again, it's only with women that she pulled this trick with.
Exactly. She's really not a girl's girl. She's not. She's really not. She don't want to really be around none of them. If
I
she
want
could be around them fellas at the credit one all day, that's what she would prefer. Not to be with the wives. Period.
Okay, now.
the credit one parties. I want to ask y'all a quick question for a minute because I did like my commentary video on how Stormy acted a fool with Black Titanic. I want each of y'all to say what was your initial reaction the first time you watched that video? Because when I watched Black Titanic's video on how that lady acted in that parking lot, I was, I'll be honest, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I could not believe how Stormy was yelling and screaming, but everyone else was calm. Black Titanic was, even Courtney, I know he was threatening to call the cops and saying y'all shouldn't be here, but his level was like lower. And, Stormy was like way up there somewhere. What was y'all initial reaction to what you were watching?
The ghetto. What she gets so upset about? The ghetto. And this is how I feel about Stormy. Stormy ain't gonna bust a grape in a in a fruit fight. She ain't gonna about do nothing but cry when it really come time to do something. But she barks real loud. But the ghetto, that's all I could say was, ooh, child, the
The
ghetto.
only
She
thing,
has no
what I
respect for
thought,
no elder. She don't even respect her mama. So that wasn't what I was expecting from her, no way. That's who she is.
I agree, and I also think that Stormy is upset that the cover is off. Her game is up. So she's afraid that everything is going to come out. So that's why she blew up. It's all dealing with her business practices. That's what I think. There was no reason for her and her husband to get upset. He came out there too. And it's because the people know that he owed that company that money. And then if he owed people money, that may mean that there's something wrong with your finances because you shouldn't be owing people money. So people are going to put two and two together. They already know what's going on. Now, if Black Titanic come up there and expose them, then hey, I'm afraid. I'm afraid now. So that's what I saw, complete fear because when people blow up like that, it's out of fear, in my opinion.
Because she was so unhinged. I was just like, what? Like, you see these two women are just standing there in the parking lot. It's not like they're the FBI or some, just crazy people coming up to your warehouse, but they're just standing there. I was in complete shock at what I was looking at.
I'm sorry, I disagree. So I'm just gonna pass. I'm not gonna say anything, but I totally disagree.
You think she's on drugs or she's doing illegal substances in that warehouse?
No, no, I don't know. That's not what I think. I'm a small business owner myself, and I kind of understand her. Do I think she did way too much with the F bombs and the cussing and everything? Yes. Do I think she acted very poorly? Yes. Do I think she could have handled that way better? Yes, also. Um, would I promise I would have done much better? Honestly, I can't. My thing is just that if we're being honest, well, I'm being honest to myself. Um, for me, it's a case of I don't think BT should have been there, especially with the fact that, what's it called? There had been multiple posts, I don't know how far back they were, that were not very flattering towards Stormy. And whether, well, in my opinion, I believe that Black Titanic is seen as like a pro male blogger, and she, what's it called? And Mel and Stormy aren't doing very well together right now. And there have been lots of people who didn't like Stormy to begin with. I wasn't one of them, as Anonymous will attest to. I was very pro Stormy, and then but I see her for who I think she is. But even with that being said, I don't like her anymore. But I don't think Black Titanic should have been there. I think it was teamed too much. I think it was wrong for her to be there. That's her place of business. It's not a storefront. It's not like, and then you're not friends, you're not friendly, because I would not believe that you're coming to buy stuff from me anyways. You don't like me, so why are you coming to patronize me? You don't like me, you say nasty things about me. Well, maybe not nasty, but not non-flattering things about me online, true, otherwise. And then whether true or not, and then you're coming to my place of business, and then you're coming with a camera, and then to do what? If you want to buy something, knock the door and ask how you can buy something. And I don't think Stormy has ever said that she has a storefront, which is the difference between Stormy's place and Madonni, because Madonni was an actual shop, but Stormy's place is a warehouse. She's never said what's it called? She has a business. I don't think she's ever told you that if there's somewhere you can come in and buy things. She's always said she has an online store. So I don't think she had any business being there once again. Now, on the other hand, and then another part is saying Stormy was cussing. Stormy wasn't the only person cussing. Yes, Black Titanic handled it better once Stormy came out, but the person with Black Titanic was also cussing. So she's cussing, the person is cussing. It's not as if the second they came out and Stormy started screaming that Black Titanic just turned and walked away and said, "Oh, I apologize, I'm sorry." Even if she didn't say anything, just turned and walked away. If as she was walking away, then Stormy continued cussing, that's a whole different situation.
Oh, yes, I disagree. And I saw someone else in the live saying, Christy, I think it was Christy saying it was an invasion of privacy.
I agree with Christy.
I disagree. And this is why. It's a business. How could you invade her privacy if it's a business? And also, you said the lady was cussing. The husband came out there cussing first. It was a reaction. We can't start in the middle. We have to start at the beginning.
No. I'm not. I didn't. I said that. What I'm saying is that I said they were cussing back and forth. Do you understand what I mean?
But
The
okay,
cussing was
I
back and forth.
misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah.
But when I'm saying
No, what I was saying,
I'm telling you who I saw.
I'm not disputing that. No, I'm not disputing what you said. I said it. That Stormy and her husband came out cussing. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
that's true.
That they came out cussing. And do you understand? So the thing is, the prolonging of the cussing was the back and forth.
No,
Black
I'm not worried
Titanic
about
didn't
the
cuss.
cussing. I was just making a point on that. But what I'm talking about is
Yeah.
the statement about invasion of privacy. That is not. They opened the door. Yes, Black Titanic came up there. She had every right to be out there. That is not a Stormy street. People can come out in that parking lot anytime they get ready. Now, when Stormy them opened that door and came out, that made it a totally different dynamic.
I agree.
Okay, so
I agree with you. I agree with you. Stormy had. I was just about to move on to Stormy. That Stormy and Courtney had every opportunity to keep their doors locked and not go outside. That was also an option. That was also an option.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly,
that could have been avoided. The whole thing could have been avoided.
I'm just talking about one person first. What I'm trying to say is Black Titanic shouldn't have been there, period, in my opinion. And then secondly, Stormy and Courtney had two options. Just don't open the door or come outside and handle it differently. I think everybody was wrong. I don't think anybody is a victim here, and I don't think anybody is the aggressor here. I think all parties handled it very poorly, in my opinion.
Okay. And that's where we disagree, because Black Titanic could have come up there and did the reporting. There was nothing wrong with that. She was not wrong to come up there and do reporting. That is what she says she is, a blogger. Stormy is considered a public figure at this point, I guess, because
she's a business owner.
And she's a business owner. That opened the door to, especially when she's running around, when people have complaints about her products. She's not giving people their products and taking people's money. What is wrong with a reporter or a blogger going up there looking to help investigate this situation? Nothing. Black Titanic, in my opinion, was not wrong on any level, point blank, period, and the end, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I was going to say this. I think Aunt Ann went to Madani as well as Black. She went in. Now, again, she supports Melody, and she had been critical of the Snorts. That's what I call them. But she went in, was a patron to Black, and gave her review on her panel, or at least on her channel. She said some good things about the Black wine, how it was situated, and then gave some bad things. I think the thing is, and this is why I said I'm probably going to put more onus on Stormy for this reason. If she did have $3,000 to give to your business and you're having trouble even getting orders, you missed out on an opportunity to change it around. I understand that, you're right, bloggers coming in, but I wish she would have taken a high road on the business side to handle it better. You know what I mean? She kind of made, especially, I didn't understand why she was recording herself cussing out Black Titanic. I didn't understand that at all.
Nobody does.
Yeah, but I just think she has to be very careful here. Whether we like it or not, business owners, invitees can come in. They come to warehouses, but there's a way to say, look, we're not open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Try our online store. That's all you had to say. That was it.
I agree.
And that's
what
all
I
I
said.
wish she would have done it. I just wish she would have done that.
And
that's what I said. Yeah, both parties,
and you
in
know
my opinion, we agree to disagree, which is fine.
Oh, yeah. But she got to handle it better than that now. We could do better than that.
Yeah,
I think because I'm a small business owner and I run my business out of my home.
I am too. But
I would be so offended.
Recording you. Why would you do that? They recording you.
I get that. That's why I said that another thing is Stormy is quite immature. and she's a bit emotional. So sometimes I think she acts and then she thinks later. Do you understand? Which is human. Which is human. And the thing
Yeah.
is, the fact that I don't even like Stormy and I feel like I'm defending her is bothering my spirit. Because I don't even like her. But on this, yeah, like I said, we'll agree to disagree because I understand her. Do I agree with how things were handled? No. But I understand the angst and I understand the upset and I
Right.
understand why she would have reacted the way she reacted, even though I don't agree with the totality of the actions. I don't think the cussing was right. I don't think talking to elderly people that way is proper. I don't think talking to anybody in that manner is proper. But for me, I think the situation could have been handled really differently. It could have been a win for both parties. And the Madoni thing with Aunt Anne was Madoni, what's it called? Black is an establishment. The people are invited in. The
Yeah.
warehouse
Yeah.
isn't.
But I would
So
say
yeah,
this. I could see why she upset. If I was Stormy, okay, some bloggers coming up here, and you know who she was. Yeah, but I wouldn't have acted no fool like that. I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't even went outside. I would just let her record outside. Like, what can I do about it?
Yeah, because
But
you
why
had
would
it
you do
tinted.
yeah,
that?
You had the windows tinted. She couldn't see inside.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do nothing about it.
exactly,
So
exactly.
I see both
But there
sides,
was
but
nothing wrong. Why
she
would you,
showed out.
Well, I think
L'Oreal though?
people
Why would
think
you
that
be
she was
upset?
coming in. I think the reason why, if I'm hearing what Virgo Energy and others are saying, they think their intent was to kind of expose what she's doing. But the sad
Right.
thing is,
Well, what is she
Stormy
doing to
exposed it
expose?
herself by recording. That ding
That's
ding
what I'm saying.
line.
Why would you be upset
And
that
then
a customer
recording
comes to
yourself
your
with a dog
establishment?
inside. Recording yourself
Well,
with a
you
dog
got to think
inside.
of it, Hannah. This is not. People done went to Madonna. You think the girl ain't seen these blogs?
Exactly. She's seen them.
She done seen
But
them
she's on
go to
TV
Madonna.
though.
She done seen them go to folks' house. She done seen them everywhere. So it's not like I'm gonna say, "Hey, girl,"
Come in.
Why not? Why
they
not?
watching this content too now. But did she handle it right? Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
She was
okay,
dead
L'Oreal.
wrong for
Let
that.
me. I understand this, but let me ask you this: Stormy is a business owner. For Black Titanic to come up there with her camera, why? What is
Even
wrong
if
with
she
that?
didn't
I
own a
do
business,
not.
Hannah, and she was just a celebrity, and people
Mhm.
go up to celebrities' house and they video and they have celebrity home tours where a whole
Right,
bus will take you by people's house. You have got to know you are a public figure at this point. She handled it horribly wrong. She showed exactly who she is, which was a ghetto hood rat.
L'Oreal. I
She
understand that.
disrespected her, period.
We
And is
all
Black
understand.
Titanic wrong for going? No. But I could see how that upset Stormy. Everybody is a human being.
Okay, let's take Stormy out of the equation. You said you would be upset if that happened to you. Why is what I'm trying to
Cause
understand.
I would get tired of the people coming by my house taking a picture of my house. You would too. You would
Which is
get
what
tired if the
Stormy
people was
did.
at your place of business. You would too. But did she have to go outside? No.
She didn't
She
come
didn't
to
have
her
to.
house.
Why?
She came to her business.
It don't matter. They get tired of people coming to their business. They get tired of people, period.
And
You on
that's why
TV.
and that's why the biggest thing is FDR said it best. If you can't take the heat,
If you
get out the
can't take
kitchen.
it, this is not the platform for you. Come on, Kimmie.
You gotta
That's
get
what I'm
off.
saying.
You
It's
gotta
not the
get off.
platform for her to go out there and cuss that lady out and act the fool. Because
That's a,
you putting your
that's
business at jeopardy at that point, what you work so hard for.
right. And those are the points that I'm trying to make is that, okay, if you signed up for this, you know that there's people that's interested in this story. You should not have gotten upset because someone came up there with a camera. You should have said, this comes along with the territory and move on.
Exactly. And it do. It do.
You can be upset, but you can handle it better. That's
She
just
gotta
how
handle
I
it
see
better.
it.
There you go. There you go. She didn't even have to go outside. We
Yeah,
all
and that's
She
say
what
didn't
that,
have to
I
go
think
outside.
that's the
but
thing that
you
people
just saying,
saying.
Hannah, you don't see how she had even the to get upset. She's human. She can get upset too.
No,
But
it
just
wasn't
because you
just
get
her, it was
upset and
her
you go outside and you act the
husband too.
fool, don't mean that you won't go to jail.
Well,
Yes,
they
it was.
got
I
OSHA.
think
They got OSHA investigating them, Hannah. So they're gonna be in trouble anyway. Don't worry about
Yeah,
They're
that
gonna
OSHA
be in
part is a
something.
lot.
Something going on up there.
it.
Yeah,
They in trouble.
The OSHA part is the scary part for me
Yeah.
because I don't know why she would record herself knowing that her dog was in there.
Is that what they investigating her for?
If they
Yes, it's a
reported
public
her to
hazard. She's
OSHA,
been reported
Oh
allegedly.
it's a health
wow.
hazard. It's a health hazard.
Mm.
Yeah, you got dog feces. You got other things. People didn't have gloves. She's in trouble. That's why I said, well,
They
have
dig
fun.
their own grave. Now the girl was dead wrong. That she don't even respect her mama. So hey,
Well, let's give Black Titanic credit. You took Stormy down before she even
she
get there.
sure did. It worked. It worked, didn't it? It worked. She didn't have to do
it
nothing but
wasn't
come in
even
the
Black
parking lot.
Titanic taking her. It was Stormy mom and her husband that took her
That's
down.
true.
Black Titanic had nothing to do with. She only thing she came up there is with a camera, trying
I
to do
And
know.
her
this is
thing.
where I differ though. It's you. It ain't your mama. It ain't your man. It's you. It's you.
What do you mean?
I
Talking
can't
about
sit up here
Stormy.
and say Stormy is complicit in how her mama acting, whatever come out of her mama mouth. She sat at that table and she defended her mama. Let her mama speak. Don't interrupt her.
I agree.
It's you. Ain't nobody to blame, baby. It's you.
No,
No,
but
I'm not
Stormy's
saying.
mother raised
I
Stormy.
can't blame Betty for her demise.
Well,
Look
I
how she
can.
acted fool. Betty wasn't in that parking lot, was she?
No, I can because
Yeah.
if she had stopped that at the beginning when her mom came out. Now, remember, her and Melody did not seem to have any problems, any major problem. We saw some cracks in the concrete at first, but they were small cracks. But when Miss Betty came up there, there's no way I would jeopardize my kids' uh, livelihood. So she can't. I think it's flat straight. The target was the mom when it comes to how what's going on with Canvas Beauty right now. Because had not Miss Betty opened her mouth talking about a woman who had nothing to do, who had done absolutely nothing to her, and what she did was absolutely wrong. And then people looked at the mom, and then they accounted it to the daughter's account and say, "Your mom did this. We're gonna blame you, and we're gonna stop." Because she never said anything to. She actually jumped on the bandwagon and say every time when I was growing up, my mom would pick my friends for me or something to that effect. So she signed on to her mom's mess. So again, both of them.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair to Miss Betty
I think
because
they
Stormy isn't just an unwilling participant.
right.
Stormy is co-signing her mother's behavior. That's why she brought her mother to the tea. Stormy is co-signing her mother's behavior. Stormy is technically doing what's it called?
What Tisha did, the same
What
thing.
Tisha did by using her mother as what's it called?
Her mouthpiece.
Her mouthpiece, exactly. So no, Stormy doesn't get to skate away, and Miss Betty doesn't get all the blame. No, no. Stormy knew exactly what she was doing by bringing her mother to that tea party. Stormy knew exactly what she was doing because she knows why her mother doesn't like Mel, and her mother not liking Mel is not news to her. So if you know your mother doesn't like Mel, why are you trying to be Mel's friend? That makes no sense to me.
And she
Yeah,
can be a friend all she want, but what your mama doing there? What nobody else mama there?
yeah. She said she could bring somebody. That probably was production. But what I'm saying about Miss Betty starting this whole thing when it comes to Stormy's business, I'm just talking about the business now. That she saw a drastic decline in sales. I guarantee you, after Miss Betty did that and her signing on, and you could say they're both at blame, but I think that Miss Betty has the most of the fault for this because she was the one that actually started it and perpetrated and kept it going and said, "I will not apologize." So
Yeah, but you
there
still
you go.
allowed your mother on your platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
but
still your
knowing
fault.
that,
You know
no,
your mama better
exactly,
than anybody. That's your mama.
exactly. So with
That's your
all that
mama.
information that you have, knowing how your mother is, you still brought her on this woman's platform, to act a fool. So what that means to
And
me
this is the thing
personally
for me. Even if she
is
stayed
that
in
you could find
alliance
it.
with Melody, the truth always prevails. You can't hide your true self. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
Child, they need to do a
Melody
background
told her,
check on
right,
these
I
people.
can't, it's not for me to speak up for you, baby. She told her the truth. I can't save you. She told her in that moment, I cannot save you. Regardless if I'd have spoke up and told the people that it was not you, it's still gonna be some people that don't like you and that's gonna continue to come for you. And that is the truth. She can't save her. She got to stand up and be her own woman. You cannot be just known as Melody's friend. As if Tiffany tried to bring up, every time I met you, Keke, you was introduced as somebody's friend. Keke got her straight. I'm Keke. You know me. Stormy has to stand up and be a woman. The same way Tisha needed to, it applies to Stormy. I'm not
Stormy
going to
has
sit up
to
there and blame Betty for everything. It's Stormy too.
exactly.
That's your mama. You know your mama was ignorant and act a fool. Leave her at home.
L'Oreal, I'm not blaming her for everything. I'm saying when it came to the demise and the decline of the business, that's what I'm talking about. She was the one that started it, and she was the one that basically, if it her started
If
But the
your
business
business
isn't
had
dead.
good business practices,
okay,
Exactly.
let me finish though. What I'm saying, and I understand exactly what you said. They both have a part in it. But I'm
yeah, it's a
almost
business.
willing to believe that if Miss Betty had not got on there and talked about Melody, and people were saying she talked about her children, then Stormy probably could have, had more leniency. People would have given her more leniency when it had come to her business. But because Miss Betty kept on, and then Stormy jumped on the bandwagon, and Miss Betty said she was not going to apologize, and all of this, that was directly associated with people not patronizing her business. Miss Betty's
But
actions.
As
but
far as the show, yes.
but
The girl
yeah,
had a business
exactly.
before the show.
Before the show. And
Before
people
the
have been
show.
calling out
And it's
Stormy for
still
not delivering.
customers that buy from her that
Exactly.
haven't seen one episode from this show.
Of this
It
show.
all
And never
ties
will.
back to your business practices. Are you able to provide the product that's promised in a timely manner?
Okay,
Is it inspected and done? So look, they getting product that been sitting old with mold. What that got to do with baby?
okay, I'm gonna tell
But
you
another
what it
thing
had
is
to do
that
with.
other
Let
people
me.
have been calling her out for years. If you go
Right.
on YouTube
It's
and
just a
you go
light
on
being
what's it called,
shined.
and you go on Canvas Beauty Reviews on YouTube from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, sorry, 3 years ago, that's the last one I saw, or 2 years ago, people were saying that they didn't get their products in time. So
But let me
this
say,
delayed deliveries is something that has been happening way before she got on the show,
that
and
is
her
true.
business is still here.
I
That is.
think she got on this show
Let
to
me
try
say
to
this,
clean it up.
L'Oreal. Let me say this also. But she still was talking about she had made $40 million, and she was also saying that I don't care about the Better Business Bureau's ratings. I'm still getting my products out. She was still talking about increasing in Target and Walmart and all of this. But have you heard that lately? It was
Mm-mm.
directly associated with what Miss Betty said.
Well, look, if you have a double F Better Business Bureau rating, and people who, even when you've been on the show, you still haven't got them their products, eventually your business is gonna collapse. And that's probably the reason why Stormy is losing her mind, acting emotionally. She's in over her head. She doesn't know what she's doing, and she's gonna get caught.
I think she scaled too fast.
She been over her head for that. But look at the amount of
Yeah,
employees she had, talking about 20,000 orders. Girl.
I think she scaled way too fast. She's in over her head, and that has nothing to do with the show, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
has to do with the fact that the scaling was not done to at the normal pace that people scale, because you can't have 5 employees, be 5,000 orders in backlog, and then still need to push out 20,000 orders to what's it called, storefronts, and you have nothing that is machine operated, nothing is automated. It's all done by hand. It's not possible.
It's not realistic.
That's it's not realistic.
And that's why I say whoever her management team is, she needed to talk to somebody
That's
who
Courtney.
had experience with supply chain and how to do this so she could properly staff, not worry about getting on Love and Marriage Huntsville to be a star and get her business right. It's just,
Right. That's adding
Yeah.
on more stress. I don't know
Yeah.
what
It's
she
too
was
much stress.
thinking. I don't know what
It's
she
too
was
much
thinking.
stress. Yeah,
And that
because
don't have nothing to do with
unfortunately,
Melody. Melody know what she doing as far as her business. That's
she's
it.
one of those people who believe that as long as you're in the major chains, that you have succeeded. So
And
I
you're
think
not.
what she just wanted was, yeah, to just get into those stores, being on the mainstream, being mainstream. And I don't think she realized that her capacity as is, which is one thing I don't think they told her. You build capacity first before you start doing that. You
correct.
have to be able to deliver. You don't do that first and then start scrambling behind the scenes to build capacity. You should put the cart before the horse. You can't have five staff and you're still labeling by hand. The expansion was too soon. The scaling was done too soon and too rapidly that now she's stressed out.
And she
Because
sat
those,
up there and told the truth about herself in that office with her cousin crying. And yeah, I
I
don't
don't,
be here. Yeah, I don't be here all the time. It's you, baby. On top of this, you don't even come to check on your own business. Leave responsibility to these 5 people up in here.
Yeah,
it's
that's
crazy.
true. And then when they told her at the meeting, if we believe that's true, she needed more workers, she wouldn't even listen to them. I know. Jeez.
She need more people to consult other than that husband of hers because he don't know nothing. He don't know nothing.
Christy asked in the chat if Stormy has a F rating with the Better Business Bureau. She sure does, Christy. You can
Yep.
go and look and read about the complaints and stuff. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. But
Well,
somebody did make a good point. They said, just like Betty said, Mel should have said something to defend Stormy. Stormy should have defended Mel when her mother attacked her. She sure was quiet, wasn't she?
Facts.
That's a
Facts.
fact. Melody don't owe you nothing, and she done told you she can't save you, baby. Period.
And not only did Stormy admit to having an F rating, she said it did not bother her because it really didn't affect her sales. Because most people don't go on the Better Business Bureau's website to look at no ratings if they're buying your products. And I was buying her products on a regular basis before this happened. And since Miss Betty came out, I have not ordered not one thing from Stormy's website, and I will not. It was directly related to Miss Betty, the reason I stopped. That's the reason I have.
And you're right about that, Hannah. For the new people who have bought in support of this show to support her business, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. How she moved. Didn't we say that was a mistake probably getting on this platform? You're absolutely right. She got on here to try to expand. She
But
really
that was
wanted people to
fine.
buy more direct from her instead of going inside these stores to purchase because she get more money direct. But she
But
cannot
that was
deliver.
fine. That was fine because she actually accomplished her mission. But it wasn't. But once they got the big head, and Miss Betty said
Uh-huh.
that Melody didn't help her get on the show, and that she didn't want her on the show, and that Melody
Yep.
didn't even have a table and all this stuff. When somebody asked about opening the door or something for her daughter to get on the show, and then from what I understand, somebody said that this could be wrong. I did not see it myself, but that Stormy said that Martell was the one that brought her on the show. All of this cut
It's a
her back.
dangerous game. It's a dangerous game. If the show introduced you as Melody friend, that's how you should have stayed, baby. We don't like flip floppers. It's a dangerous game. We said that. Look at Destiny. We done buried Madonna, didn't we?
Yeah. I think Stormy thinks the flex is being in Target and Walmart. But like you said, L'Oreal, you get more money with direct sales. And I remember Melody was live on Instagram and she was asked, are you considering getting into the stores? And I remember I streamed it. And I remember Anonymous typed in the chat, she need to hold off on that. And then that's what Melody said. She said, no, I'm not really focused on trying to get in the stores because my bottom line is greater by me just doing direct sales, just doing it from my
Which is
home.
true. That's true.
Mhm. So has it all taken your hearts, or what are your last, your closing remarks about the show, about the episode?
I'm over it.
I think it's warming up. We're gonna see
Yeah,
how
I
hot
think
it's
it's
gonna
gonna.
get this season.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good season. But I like the fact that Huntsville is on Saturday and Roa is on Sunday, because I cannot wait for my girls on Roa to eat Martell up.
Oh, I can't wait for that tonight.
Baby.
Ah,
That's right.
woo!
My
I couldn't
closing.
believe they started off with Martell, honey. They coming in hot.
Well, they had to get the socks. The socks in his pants had to be uplifted, allegedly, in our view.
Anonymous, did you notice Martell stuffing his shorts?
Baby, he had to after we said he had no print.
People actually believe that package was all Martell. That was Sheree socks. Or it was what's it called? Bruno, what's her dog's
I
top?
think Andy gave him the
Martell needs to
socks.
stop. Martell, no, Andy won't touch Martell. That's all colors.
True.
Okay.
Andy does not
I'm
do
going to
broke.
close my remarks and y'all can go on. But my closing remarks is this. And I know shows Style and Spirit, we didn't get a chance to complete that interview. But Martell, in my opinion, is trying to set himself up to basically get good people to look positively on he and Melody's relationship. With his only goal is to sell suits, underwear, and all of this. This is why he's trying to make it, and this is why he went on to Carlos' platform. And Carlos is trying to help him make money. We did not finish it, but I think one of the comments that he made is in there when when Martell said it was affecting the way social media see him, is affecting him as far as his pocketbook, his wallet. And then Carlos said, don't speak that. So that lets me know their primary reason for coming on Martell's for coming on Carlos' platform is to try to manipulate people into seeing him in a positive relationship with Melody, which we know is not true. It's an illusion. And Mel said it this week on the show. I think she said Martell is a manipulator. And this is what he's doing now. So I hope, and I'm pretty sure the millimeters won't fall for it, but there are people that's going to fall for it. And he's trying to sell something. That is the reason, his only reason for trying to make it look like him and Melody is in a good spot when it comes to co-parenting. Again, spiritual warfare. This is what he's doing. The bottom line is people wouldn't. I know Melody not gonna fall for it, but I wouldn't spend a dime on any of his products because he's not. He's trying to be a manipulator, and he's trying to use Melody's reputation. And I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna bite somebody real hard for going into these collaborations with him. But we'll see. Anyway, that's my closing argument. Closing argument. That's my closing statement. All right. Thank you for letting me come on and share this.
What clothes you got? They for sale right now?
He got it.
He got something in DC.
He has a collaboration with him.
I'm going to do a separate panel for the reaction because that's what we were at started. We were about 7.5 minutes into the interview. So in a few days later on this week, I'll do another panel and we'll play and stop and give commentary on the interview.
Oh, because I didn't know nothing about no clothing line. I'll say.
Yeah, he has underwear and suits coming out, allegedly.
Who doing it for him, Sheree? Is it a real thing or is Sheree doing it?
No, it's Carlos is doing it. He's helping.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because in the beginning of that interview, when he asked him, what made you come on? And he said, well, you paid me last night. Who says that? Like you wouldn't.
Ooh, what kind of payment did he give him, y'all?
Yeah, because it's not like your normal direct deposit. That ain't gonna hit at no nighttime. So what is he talking about?
Like I said, make it rain. I make it rain on them.
I'm out. Bye, ladies. Happy Mother's Day.
Love you, Virgo. Love you, Hannah.
Love
Thanks
you,
for
Love
Anonymous.
calling,
Bye, guys.
Virgo.
you too,
Thank you.
Anonymous.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
Ebony.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a
Bye.
great
Have a
one now.
great week.
Y'all, I didn't know you want to end on that. He must have paid him in other ways. It wasn't monopoly money, allegedly.
Wow. Well,
I know. I just thought that was very odd. I'm like,
I'm glad
okay.
you caught that. I didn't know he paid him that night last night. I'm like, well, okay.
here's the thing though. Something like that for Martell would have worked instead of a cookbook. We never seen you cook some wine. All these other things that he was reaching for, he should have done. Fitness to begin with,
Yeah.
something that he's passionate about, and maybe some tight suits. I mean,
Yeah, but
because that is who
L'Oreal,
he is.
I'm thinking he was trying to please other segments of the population with this cookbook, in my opinion, allegedly.
Going for the women.
Not the women's.
Mm. Okay, gotcha.
Not the women's. It was another code, baby. The men's, boo.
Is him sitting there in his apron and no other clothes on?
And can't cook. Come on now.
I had never seen him cook. I was like, what? Hey, I don't think he's making the right choice being on Atlanta. I'm gonna see how they get him tonight. I'm excited for it. But one of the main reasons why I don't think he should have went there is because men don't get paid on Real Housewives of Atlanta. You need a paycheck, brother.
Well, they said allegedly that Cougar Peach Cobbler is giving him 10% of her check.
Okay, gotcha. He the new Peter Thomas. All right.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Part of the deal.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So Morticia is gonna be on the show tonight. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, well, Melody said he is a queen, so we all know why he's a queen, allegedly.
The real queen of Atlanta.
That's right. Yes, Carlos,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes.
Y'all so silly. Your laugh is hilarious, L'Oreal.
I get that all the time. People laugh when I'm laughing. I'm like, do you know what I'm laughing at? If I don't, you just laugh funny. But I appreciate it. I always love your commentary. I feel like you give a very dignified. And that's one of the reasons why I like listening to Silver. I like listening to you early on. I can catch you earlier during the day too. So I'm glad you're doing it. I'm gonna stay tuned to your platform. Yes, I think Anonymous
you're very
brought me over
good.
here a while back, honey, and I've been subscribed.
I remember, L'Oreal. You and Anonymous, y'all are my day ones. It would just be us talking, and that would be it. So I'm gonna probably go live maybe tomorrow night because we got to talk about Kenya telling Martell off. I've been waiting, and I didn't recap
Yeah.
episode 1, so I'll do the first 2 episodes together.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I
it's been a
definitely be back
great.
to check it out.
Cool.
All
I
right.
hope y'all enjoy the rest of the Sunday and have a great week. Thanks for coming up on the panel, y'all. This was so much fun. And I hope everybody has a good week. Please hit the like button and thank you for subscribing. Y'all take good care. Bye-bye.